to day 2 of the Gamers League European 3v3 $1,000 Invitational. We apologize for the delay there. My name is Desecration, and I am more than happy to be joined by my two incredible co-casters today, Supatees and Metaclass. Guys, how are you doing today?
I'm awake now. Thanks, man.
Woo! Supatees, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you, AJ?
I'm doing pretty good, man. We got some good matches lined up for today. Big tournament. We saw a lot of really good games yesterday. I actually had to fill in casting because Metaclass fortunately was able to make it. But nevertheless, he's here today, so very happy about that. I'll be hosting today. So let's take a look at the teams that we got coming up here. Starting with, I believe, which bracket are we starting, guys? The G bracket?
Should be
M.
No, M. Got it. Okay, so we got We Will Win Baba versus Toxic Youth. This is the losers bracket 2. And this is going to be the first game that we're queuing up here in just a moment. And let's actually take a look at the team right now. I got it right here. And so We Will Win Baba. This is the Warwick team, the LSD. We saw a lot of their games like go to dampening yesterday. And they have this like very incredible burst that this team is able to put out. The big damage, as Warwicks would say, when they bring this into dampening. You know what I mean?
Yep. That is as he would say. The queue did pop, so we're going to be getting in here as quickly as possible.
Absolutely no delays, my friends.
Oh, and it's an RLD, not the setup that we were expecting. So that's a little bit different, huh?
Yeah, they are capable of multi-comboing swaps. Switching off from Death Knight yesterday onto Warlock. Botar switching off of Holy Paladin onto Resto Druid, and then this is Prey, I believe, still on one of his alt rogues. Maybe it's Human versus Gnome. He wants more damage, but they're going to choose to play RLD into this LSD setup, and I think it might be a smart move here. It's going to allow them to play for a bit more of a long game. Smoke Bomb Cleave might run out of steam.
Yeah, no, definitely. Any kind of like Affliction comp is going to do really well against Demonology in the same way that it always does well against Destro. So it's kind of a smart move on their side, knowing that Smoke Bomb would just kind of get thrashed by an LSD. So we'll have to see what they can do, though, and if they can really land those kills that they really need to onto, probably, I'm guessing, either Looney or onto Zeepai.
Yep. And the early gateway is going to come down. Zeepai trying to pull Prey out of stealth with this Earthquake. Not going to be landing onto him, however. And they're already gaining combat here. Looney staying back for now. He's pre-hotted his team. And I would imagine that Prey wants to just go after Looney for most of this game, which is why he's searching for him right now. He's going to cross pass, running right on top of him and not seeing him whatsoever. So he's going to circle back here, try and find a new target. In the meantime, Swapsy's just been loading up dots onto Walrix here. Zeepai trying to line aside as well. Walrix using Drain Life to heal so Looney doesn't have to come out of stealth. Prey still trying to find Looney here in the room, and he's going to sap him, which means he's going to get the full Kidney Shot opener. Howl on both the DPS, Kidney Shot, Shadow Reflection, Smoke Bomb, the all-in onto Looney right now in this. The Haunt's going to connect as well with full rows of dots into a DR Cheap Shot. He finally gets into Bear form at 50%. Now into the Garrote Silence here. Walrix and Zeepai trying to put up some counter pressure. Looney's going to gate away, but he's dipping low, down to 8%. He gets the NS off, has to use the Ironbark. He's dying through it. Back to Bear form at 20%. That was the killing spree. Into the Howl of Terror, down to 15%. How can he survive? Down to 9%. He's got full hots rolling. He's barely holding on to life. Now back to 40%. He displaces away, and he's going to recover.
Yeah, great play from Zeepai, recognizing the off-field potential that he had to put in there. He really did. Just making sure that he was trying to keep his healer alive right there. Looney put into that kidney once again. And it looks like, Blue is his name, Pry, right? Pry running away from everybody, trying to be careful and knowing that Wally has all of his CDs up right now. Swapsy being smart right there, getting the double howl into both of them with Zeepai having up his elemental mastery and everything. So right now, just kind of shutting down the LSDs, starting up cooldowns and everything. But there's Walrix, rather, with the set of cooldowns coming out. The Chaos Wave's coming into Swapsy. It looks like he's going to be the kill target for this match. And so far, they're getting him down to about 200k, doing a pretty good job and having to actually put a kidney into him to be a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, Swapsy and Prey both rotting down here. Botar's mana starting to get tapped. He's going to get put into the Axe Toss stun, looking for a full fear out of that. They do land the full fear. Swapsy could be in trouble here. The Dark Soul comes out, a blind onto Zeepai. Howl of Terror now onto Botar. Swapsy down to 35, down to 28% HP. Cloak of Shadows out from Prey just to survive the Iron Bark onto Swapsy. Good use of defensive cooldowns here to mitigate the incoming damage from both players. Swapsy popping his own Dark Soul now, however, getting fear spammed on it, not able to get the dots rolling here, and he really needs to start getting them rolling now. Prey getting fear spammed. Botar down to 50% mana. Looney at 70%, taking a significant lead here. Zeepai choosing to use the Shamanistic Rage in the meantime to stay offensive. The Iron Bark now used onto Walrix here as Prey was connecting to him. Prey trying to find a new target here, maybe going after the Demonology Pet here shortly. Swapsy's trying to rot it down here. Looney has to expend a lot of mana to heal it. Now Botar down to 45% mana, and that's going to be the game deciding factor, I think, is mana.
Yeah, at this point, it's really going to be all about mana, unless something happens like you saw in the beginning, where they just train down Looney through like everything, almost killing him instantly. But right now, they're doing a really good job of controlling Swapsy on his set of Dark Soul right now. They're getting off those double haunts, everything into Zeepai, making sure that he's just going to force some kind of cooldowns on him. Getting the clones off into the Rogue, though, forcing him to not be able to keep up any more of that red buff. Looks like a drop right there. And Wally with the CDs coming up, and looks like he's just going to go ahead and try and fake us right there. Zeepai popping CDs as well. Hitting Botar really hard right now. He actually forces both of the Bark and the other Bark as well. Doing a really good job just putting the damage into him, forcing him to be a little bit more defensive. You can't really push in that early. And Zeepai getting pressured back, and the other side, though, forcing a Bark onto him as well.
Yeah, Botar's going to have to find the time to get a drink here. Zeepai and Walrus are just standing right on top of him. They're not going to let him get it for free. Zeepai building out for those Fulmination stacks, already at 12 on his Lightning Shield, looking to get to 20. Botar into the Axe Toss in the center of the map, but they're not going after him just yet. They're going to Howl of Terror him out of that, going on to Swapsy. But now the Smoke Bomb out from Prey onto Looney, dipping him low. The Killing Spree coming out. He did get into Bear Form here. He's got Barkskin ticking. He displaced her beast away right at the end of the Killing Spree. Fear Spam onto Prey is going to keep him alive with a nice Capacitor Totem and a Hex on a Botar. Triple CC. He has to trinket the Hex. Swapsy's dipping low, down to 20%. He's going to get cloned up at low HP here. Prey desperately cheap shotting and corroding both DPS to keep Swapsy alive here. Botar's going to have to expend a lot of mana. Another Cyclone at low HP. Botar should be able to get the heals rolling here shortly. The Iron Bark used. Luckily, he did not NS into that. He's going to be able to top him off quickly. Walrus now on the back foot. Has to portal back, relay a support, and Axe Toss down over onto Botar. They're not able to chain it into a fear, however. Walrus is too far away. Swapsy loading out the haunts here onto Zeepai, trying to get the dots rolling. Walrus is going to Demon Leap in. Not get too much done, though. Zeepai pulling back for now. They did get a lot of cooldowns out from Botar. Getting the Trinket and the NS is very huge here. They're probably going to look for another swap here in 8 seconds when Dark Soul comes out. Swapsy line of sighting for the time being. Walrus rebuffing. They're going to want to make a push here very shortly. Prey is the most exposed target right now, but he's got Cloak. I don't think that they're going to go for him, but Prey wants to go in. Shadow steps over to Looney here. He's going to Barkskin immediately. They're fear spamming Prey as well. The Dark Soul being used from Swapsy to get some damage rolling. Looney using his Barkskin there. He's trying to root Prey, and he's doing a good job CCing him. Now the swap over to Swapsy, it would appear, as the Dark Soul gets popped by Walrus. Botar into a full Howl of Terror with no Trinket, down to 50% here, into a full Hex out of the Howl of Terror. What can Swapsy do? Down to 19%. Moonfires are flying in. Everyone participating on the kill here, down to 15%. Botar finally leaving the CC, gets an NS off, gets the Iron Bark up. He's desperately trying to roll the Hots through here to top him off. He's having such a rough time, but now Looney getting swapped to with no Barkskin could be in trouble.
Yeah, right now Looney's sitting in this huge amount of damage on him. He's on a 90k at this point. Both the Howl comes on and both DPS. They can't peel from him. They can't heal. This could be huge trouble. There's the Killing Spree. I can't believe he managed to live that. He gets off a humongous NS right there with the on-use Trinket up, and he's still not out of the trouble zone yet. He's still at 100k. He managed to get away for a couple seconds there. His team is doing such a good job at off-healing and peeling, trying to let him live through this. And now it looks like kind of at this point, I mean, the mana is really even now. I mean, they haven't really gotten any farther past, but Wally, with all the CDs up right now, trying to put some pressure into Swapsy. There's the full Hex once again, getting that onto Botar, and they choose to go ahead and stop the pressure by putting a Kidney into Wally right there, stopping his damage setup and making sure that they're not going to continue to take any more damage. But at this point, they do have to be a little bit more careful. They can't continue to push in onto Looney like they were right there. And Looney actually being a little bit cheeky, getting that drink off right now. An excellent play, knowing that right now they can't get to him. His DPS aren't in trouble. He actually gets sapped right there. And looks like he got auto-attacked out of it. But there's the Kidney onto him while in Bear. He's not going to be in trouble through this. Doesn't look like Pry has any CDs up for him or anything like that. It looks like they get one Haunts off into him, but he should be okay. And during all that, looks like Swapsy had caught the Bark as well. And the Shadow Step getting blinked right there. Really good play by Looney, saving that for that Shadow Step. Swapsy continuing to be pressured so hard at this point, cloning up Pry, making sure that RLD is starting to fall a little bit farther behind at this point.
Yeah, that drink is going to be game-changing. Botar now trying to go for a drink, but he's not going to be able to with the entire team on top of him. He's still down to 30%. Looney taking a huge lead at 75% mana, so he's going to be able to expend it all, haunting his entire team preemptively here. Prey gateways in and Shadow Steps for a kidney shot over on the Looney. He's going to Barkskin immediately, but there weren't any cooldowns popped, so he basically baited the Barkskin. And the Haunt's going to connect now with full dots. Zeepai rotting down. Swapsy just needs to turn around and unload his full damage. Walrix here trying to build up for some Demonic Fury, possibly a swap over to Botar, but Botar having Trinket and Skin, I don't think they're going to be able to take him down. They are starting to rot pretty significantly to Swapsy's dots. Swapsy dipping to 50%, Botar going for a drink. Zeepai pushes in to stop it. He's going to be able to stop the drink, comes back, unloads his Lava Burst over onto Swapsy. Botar in the Axe Toss. Swapsy going to portal back immediately. Walrus Demon leaps after Swapsy, a full Hex out of that onto Botar. He's trying to sit through it. In the meantime, Prey trying to push in for a kill over onto Looney. He's going to NS and top himself off. Zeepai rotted down to 30% at the moment. Swapsy getting bursted to 40. He's going to get knocked to the center of the map by Zeepai here. Walrus trying to tee off now. He's getting fear spammed. Looney does manage to escape from Pry for the time being. He's going to have to use the kidney shot onto Walrus with the smoke bomb. Looney desperately trying to get inside here and save his teammate. Down to 15%. The Dark Regeneration comes out. He portals back. Prey Shadow says back to him. Down to 15%. I don't think he's going to be able to survive here. Looney doesn't have a lot left to save him. Down to 22% here. Zeepai trying to counter pressure in desperation. Pops the Ascendance over onto Swapsy. Swapsy has to portal away. Down to 28%. He's going to get out of line of sight here. Now full blind onto Looney with no Trinket. What can Walrix do? Down to 30%. The Hex comes out onto Swapsy defensively. Prey cloaks offensively. Ironbark down to 9%. Demon Leap back into the room to try and kite. Prey at the meantime down to 10%. Cheap shot onto Looney. Both teams getting pressured so hard. Garrote Silence onto Walrix down to 10%. Down to 9%. Portal the Haunt connects. Looney is the Live Lord keeping him alive here. Prey rotting down to 30% now as well. Both Druids getting tapped on mana. Prey down to 12%. Kidneys Walrix in desperation just running around in the center of the map. He might just go down. The NS comes from Botar, saves him back to 40%, and both teams might stabilize.
Yeah, both of the locks using their setup on the Howl right there, trying to get so much of a peel and just barely living on both sides, down to 9% on both sides at the lowest point. Botar sitting in that full clone right now. Good job from Looney getting that off onto him. Live with that mind gain right there, but forcing at the same time the Sham Rage and the looks like the Dwarf Stone Form out of Zeepai right now. So the RLD is definitely still putting up a lot of pressure, even though their hero is down to 16k mana. Looney's not that far behind, really. But it looks like they're still trying to put in a decent amount of pressure into Swapsy here, get the clone off onto the Rogue, making sure that he can't do anything else. Zeepai has up the Elemental Mastery, just trying his absolute best to do as much damage as possible right now, knowing that at this point it's all about the damage. At this point, stopping the drinks and everything, but they still let him get off a little bit of drink right there. He got back some mana. Now at this point, it's completely evened out in terms of mana rather. Both Barks are up on the Shaman and on the Lock on the other team. The NS also comes out onto Zeepai right before the kidney. This is the big damage. The Killing Spree comes out. He's down to 140. He doesn't have a Sham Rage right now, I believe. He's going to use the Windwalk, trying to get away as fast as possible. The stuns and everything else coming out of Swapsy, trying to peel some damage, let him live. Zeepai doing his absolute best to run back, but at this point, he literally has 1% mana. He can't even heal himself. He can't purge. He can't do anything. But the swap over onto the Rogue right now, he gets chunked so hard, he has to see loss, and he presses his evasion, making sure the pet can't even damage him during this. Zeepai, just recognizing how much in trouble he is right at this point, he goes ahead, presses his Sham Rage, he gets kidneyed on it, and Walrix, recognizing the danger, presses his Howl button, saving him for now.
Yeah, Swapsy's Dark Soul is up. He's pressuring Looney's mana even harder right now. Zeepai going for a defensive Hex here. Actually lands a Hex on a Botar, and that's going to be sitting here for the time being. It's eventually going to break to the damage, and it does. The Haunt's going to connect onto Zeepai. The Iron Bark has to be used to answer the incoming damage. Walrus going for a Demon Bolt. He's going to land the Demon Bolt over to Pry. He doesn't have a Cloak of Shadows. The Iron Bark comes up. The Fulmination stacks are blown. He's going to survive with that Iron Bark and Feint. Now he's going to be line of sighting here, waiting for these cooldowns to fade. Swapsy in the center of the map, taking some damage from all these wild imps, is going to pop the Dark Regeneration, but dampening is so high, will it really do anything? He's trying to banish Walrix's pet in desperation here. Prey moving in for the kill, though. Shadow steps across the map, the full kidney onto Walrix. The Smoke Bomb out once again. Looney comes in, though, and lands a full bash. Now the Howl of Terror onto Looney. Walrix still at 30%. Demon leaps to the center of the map, pops the Dark Regeneration. Killing Spree comes out, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Walrix goes down. Prey takes him out, and Toxic Youth leading 1-0 at 42% dampening.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a light game, that's for sure. Nothing really happened for a little bit there. Then finally, we started seeing that damage start to set in. The rot from both teams, and wow, yeah, I almost feel like they did such a good job going on the lock, but the ports and everything just make it so incredibly difficult. But at the same time, a rogue is such a hard target, and Botar plays so defensively that it's hard to even go to him either. So, man,
Dude,
that's rough.
Zeepai actually did like 7.9 million damage. Like he kept up with Walrix, in line with Walrix,
Yeah,
and more than Prey.
I feel like almost every time that we've seen these two play, it's almost always where Zeepai keeps up, or at least sometimes he even out damages everything else. Like Shadow Priest and everything. So he definitely does a lot of damage as Ellie.
42% dampening. Oh my god. How do you even live through that?
You don't.
Well, you
Yeah,
don't.
You die.
don't.
Yeah. Man. That's got to be tense coming down to the last moments. Like at the start of the game, you almost burst somebody down,
Yeah.
then you have to wait a couple more minutes before you start to see anybody even get below 20% at any point, and then you go through like a solid minute or two where everybody's at 20%, and then just everybody comes back, and you're like, man, how's this even happening? But it does, and RLG
I can't
takes
believe
it
that
in
they
that first
managed to restabilize there about halfway through the game. It was like everyone was down like 20%, and then they just managed to like pick themselves up for like that brief moment there. That was insane.
game. Yeah, I almost thought we were going to see a cross kill for a second there.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
On both the Rogue and the Lock. So I was like, ooh, that'd be kind of a sad matchup though. An Ellie Shaman and a Druid up against a Lock and a Druid. So I kind of
Oh yeah, oh boy, we're going to like 75% dampening.
no, I think
Frozen in that.
yeah.
But
I have that 108% dampening is the limit. So
we're already
Casters,
jumping
keep in mind
into
you guys are ahead of the delay too.
oh okay.
So you guys are saying things about 3 seconds before they're actually happening.
Well, it's not a lot we can do.
Yeah, stop being so precognitive.
It's not my fault. We just know, man. We just know.
We are going to jump into Runes of Lordaeron as the map selection for We Will Win Baba. Interesting that they want to bring it here. Obviously, the pillars are giving a lot of assistance to Toxic Youth. Always being able to retreat in line of sight was important to their survival. And here in Runes of Lordaeron, everyone is exposed. So we're going to have to see how long they can actually survive here on Runes of Lordaeron. The gate's going to be opening shortly. Of course, both Warlocks securing their gateways respectively. Walrix actually choosing to get it a little bit further ahead as well. Swapsy, Zeepai pushing over the tomb here to try and gain some early combat. I believe he did get the Flame Shock onto Swapsy, so they're not going to be able to get a sap. Prey's going to have to be patient here once again. He's looking for Looney, and Looney's not out of stealth this time around. He's running right for his throat. He's going to actually choose to blind Zeepai, and he kidneys Looney, but he got into bear form prior to it, and he's going to mitigate so much damage from this. He's going to choose to Barkskin as well. Botar caught into an Axe Toss. Walrus looking to get a Howl of Terror out of this. Lands the full Howl of Terror. Swapsy is the target of choice for the start of this game, getting him down to 72%. But with no more crowd control on a Botar, should easily top him, and he does. Zeepai looking for a Hex here. He does get interrupted on it, I believe, by Prey there, so he's not going to land that full Hex. Zeepai loading out the Lava Burst here, but he's down to 60%. Looney needs to get some hots rolling. He's going to get Shadow Step kidneyed out of bear form here. Prey trying to finish him off. Zeepai coming back defensively. The Killing Spree is going to come out onto Looney. That's going to force the Iron Bark onto him here. He's got full hots rolling, trying to line of sight the Drain Soul and get himself topped off here. Botar in the meantime throwing a bash onto Zeepai. Not looking to CC him any longer though. Botar caught into a DR Howl of Terror, swaps you down to 50%. The Iron Bark should give him a little bit of time here. Botar getting Hex now. The Iron Bark's going to be fading. Swapsy actually getting locked out by Zeepai. The Kidney Shot fading onto Walrix. He's going to want to make a turnaround on damage here on Swapsy shortly, but not too much happening in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, so far they've just been running around kind of pressing cooldowns as they come up almost, and just pressing them when they see something scary, like Killing Spree or something like that. And there's the setup though. This is what they've been doing this entire game. The swap it up onto Swapsy. They need to get that Hex or the Howl onto Botars. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it quite yet though. There's the Kidney onto Looney. He goes ahead and just presses the Barkskin right away. The Full Fear onto Botars at the same time though. Right now they're trying to see if they can push back and put in some pressure onto Swapsy so he can't be so offensive on top of Looney. Good play on their part. Looney just running away in bear form, trying to get away a little bit, doing a good job of mitigating damage, and also at the same time fearing up the Rogue, making sure that he can't really do anything at the moment.
Yeah, Looney keeping full pre-hots. He's ready for a swap over to himself, which is why he's constantly running over this tomb and line of sighting Prey. Prey actually committing to Z-Pie. He drops a smoke bomb. The killing spree coming out, taking him down to 30%, even through Shamanistic Rage and Iron Bark. The Nature's Swiftness has to be used as well to top off Z-Pie, who goes for a full hex. He lands it out of the Howl of Terror. Botar's forced to trinket that and put the Iron Bark onto Swapsy, who's taking a lot of damage from Walrus. Walrus getting cloned now by Botar. The hots are rolling. He's going to be able to top him off. Both teams are going to stabilize. Prey looking for a swap. He's going to go over to Looney. Kidney shot him full out of bear form, already taking him down to 40%. He's going to gateway back defensively, get the hots rolling again, and top himself off here shortly. Swapsy's Dark Soul is going to be fading in about 3 seconds, and so is his big pressure when that does. Botar caught into a full fear right now. It doesn't break, unfortunately, to the one Flame Shock tick, but in the meantime, Z-Pie popping the Ascendant's Elemental Mastery, trying to get something rolling. Walrus with his Dark Soul as well, but the damage just isn't happening. Swapsy spamming Drain Life, banishing the pet over and over to reduce all the incoming damage whenever it happens here. And now he's throwing the haunt here over to Z-Pie, trying to take him out, bringing him down to 60%. Botar caught into an axe toss. Z-Pie looking to try and get a hex. The Howl of Terror going to be used instead here. Z-Pie getting pressured, and he really wants to land a hex, but the killing spree is coming out onto him. He's going to Shamanistic Rage at 30%, taking a significant amount of damage. Looney's going to have to use the Nature Swiftness to top him off. Z-Pie getting howled now on that hex. He does have full Fulmination stacks, and he's ready to just unload all of them here shortly.
Yeah, it looks like he's ready to go. Wally doesn't have a Dark Soul for another 40 seconds, but they really need to kind of push back and put in more pressure, make the mana game a little bit scarier on the part of Botar's and them, and maybe let Looney get a drink or something like that by pushing back some CC and everything. But Looney getting the pre-bear onto the stun right there. Good job on his part. And right now it looks like the AR is going to be popped on him. He goes ahead, he blinks away. He's trying to just run away and kite out everything. Gets the Howl onto all three right there, forcing him to not be able to use the AR for a little bit. He gets back into bear after putting a pots on himself. He goes ahead and barks, or rather Iron Barks right there, recognizing that the damage still could come in on him, and he's trying to just kite away. Doing a really good job on just rooting him and fearing him out, though. And at this point, I mean, the Rogue must be feeling pretty annoyed. He can't really play the game. And the full clone comes out onto Looney right there, forcing the Shamrage instantly onto Z-Pie. Really good damage coming into him right now, but then they're turning around onto Swapsy to get him down to 140k with Botards out of CC, so they're just doing that straight through his heals practically. And it looks like he had also used that S during that as well. Looney's with his Iron Bark falling off right now, and I mean, at this point, both teams don't really have CDs, and he kind of wasted a Shadow Step right there as well onto Looney. Didn't have a Kinney ready for it. He's able to just walk away from it at that point. I mean, kind of a wasted point of the Shadow Step, but yeah.
Yeah, and we can see mana starting to be an issue for Botar, but it was the same last game, and at a certain point in dampening, they eventually just became tied. Looney getting swapped to here in a kidney. He's not in bear form. It's important to know he's going to be taking a lot more damage because of that double Howl of Terror on both the DPS. 3v1 onto Looney. Killing spree comes out. He's down to 20% here. Drain Soul is ticking with a Haunt up. He's going to have to Hellstone. He's still going low, down to 26%. Defensive Howl of Terror gets trinketed by Prey here to try and finish the job. He's just chasing after him here relentlessly. Looney should be able to recover though. He gets himself topped off here with a regrowth kidney shot now over to Walrix to try and peel some incoming damage. Prey looking to start retreating, it looks like. Swapsy's taking quite a bit of damage, down to 70%. Botar's easily healing through it, but at the expense of his mana. He does throw a bash over onto Z-Pie. He's been committing his bash over there constantly, now landing a full clone out of it as well, forcing Z-Pie's trinket, and they could make a smoke bomb swap here. Smoke bomb is now available for Prey, instead kidney shotting Looney here. He's in bear form. The adrenaline rush being used here to try and build up towards that red buff a little bit quicker. Botar into a full hex with no trinket, Swapsy down to 50%. Prey on the defense, Vanish, Chief Shot, corroding both the DPS. Defensive smoke bomb coming down as well. Drain life being spammed by Swapsy in desperation to stay alive, and he's going to be able to. Now the killing spree coming out onto Looney's Gateway, dipping low here, down to 20%. The NS might not be enough. He gets howled up at 18%. Can he live this time around? Down to 17%. The kidney shot gets trinketed immediately. I didn't even see it. Down to 15%. Trying to run away. Desperation. Triple cap stun comes out from Z-Pie. Now he's trying to make a turnaround over onto Swapsy. Axe toss onto Botar. Down to 30% now. The Chaos Waves are connecting here. Botar even taking some damage. Down to 30%. Is going to use the Bark Skin to try and mitigate any potential kill pressure there. But now We Will Win Baba has stabilized and is on the offense.
Yeah, and now right now the RLD is kind of just being as defensive as possible. They're actually using their offensives, at least from Swapsy right now, to see if they can put back some pressure against the other team, force them to maybe play a little bit more defensive and not really pressure them at all. But as you know, like with the demo lock, it comes in the the pretty much every single Dark Soul. I mean, that's going to be the pressure. So they really only need to watch for that at that point. Outside of that, they don't really have enough kill potential to do anything. So right now, the RLD is kind of being defensive. They don't need to be outside of those windows. But the pre-bear on that Shadow Step, Kinney right there on Looney, and huge damage right there on the Stropsy, as I was saying. That Dark Soul, though, huge damage on him right there. The same thing happened to Looney on the other side of the map, though. He gets just the NS. He's just trying to go back and forth between Embark. He actually goes ahead and uses that Kinney into both Barks right there. And at this point, with AR up and everything else, looks like Looney's going to be totally fine, though, with the Fears onto the Rogue. It's dropping up some of pretty much all the damage at this point. He doesn't even have dots up on him, looks like, and the RLD kind of failed with their pressure right there, for wasting all the coolness, but the Triple Hawk comes out from Walrick, stopping the damage, making sure that Looney can try and catch up right now. And the mana situation for Botars is starting to look kind of scarce at this point. He's down to 9k mana. Stropsy doing his absolute best to just try and swap around pressure to everybody, but Walrick's actually looking like he pops out his heals right there, trying to keep himself alive, uses the port, trying to get away from the Rogue right now. And there's the Triple Howl, though, onto everybody. Looks like Looney gets out of it right away, breaks the dots, and there's the Kinney onto Looney. He's in caster form right now. This could be huge trouble for him if he can get anything else onto this. He looks like he gets a huge knock. That knock saves him right there. There's some setup, though, right now. It looks like Stropsy has the bark, and the killing spree comes out on Looney. He's down to 90k. The double bark comes out. He's down to 120k. This could just be the end of the game. The double howl comes out. Looney's going to be able to try and cast a hex right there. He hexes the Rogue. It's going to instantly break, and Looney's getting chased into the back, just sitting down at 100k, using that pro kite pattern he's been doing a few times now with the gate, keeping himself alive just barely.
Yeah, and he's going to survive for the time being. Now both healers tied on mana. Zeepai rotted down to 30% HP. Looney has to camp bear for him in case that kidney shot is ready for him. Triple Howl Terror, kidney shot over to Looney, or Zeepai here. He's dipping low, down to 15%, tanking it through. Howl of Terror lands out from Walrix, trying to peel in desperation. A blind, it's going to break to the dots here. Zeepai still trying to tank. A Demon Bolt trying to come out here on desperation time onto Botar. They might be able to take him out. Defensive smoke bomb. Zeepai's in trouble. Botar's in trouble. Down to 4%, 2%. Zeepai is going to fall to the pressure first, but if that smoke bomb didn't get dropped, Botar's life was definitely gone.
And that Botar was a defensive one. It ended up being both a defensive and offensive one right there at the end, actually securing the kill as well as keeping Botars alive. So good play on their part. The RLD against the LSD games, at least this one was quite a bit shorter, but definitely exciting right there towards the end every time.
So Toxic Youth will advance on forward, where they will face off against Rip Zank in the losers round 3, and then it'll be semifinals. So we are moving on to... Are we actually moving on to that game next? Let me take a look real quick. As far as... Okay, we're going on to match number N right now. So yeah, we're actually heading right onto that, which will be Rip Zank versus Toxic Youth.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be kind of an exciting match. An RMP against... What do you think? I'm guessing they played Smoke Bomb in the last matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like maybe the Smoke Bomb cleave would be kind of exciting to see them come up against another RMP, but I don't know. I kind of feel like RLD might actually be a better option overall, but I don't know. I don't really play either of those comps, so I don't really know for sure.
Will be fun to see. The dream, man, the dream.
The dream.
RMP versus RLD.
So, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see if they'll choose RLD. I'd be kind of surprised. Honestly, I feel like Smoke Bomb actually might be better against it, but I'll have to see what they choose, because they've probably already played Smoke Bomb against them when I looked over at the ladders. So I'd imagine that they might actually switch over to RLD just to try out what they hands already, and indeed they do.
Yeah. I'm really looking to that forward to G. I believe this is in the semifinals coming up right after round N, which is the current game coming up, and it is Repoly JK200 Ping versus that Rocket Gaming team, the Asper versus I believe the God Comp. Oh my God, that's going to be a really good match today.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's going to be the highlight match of the tournament. Probably a rematch series as well. Both these teams fighting to go up against them in the future here. The score is not this. This is not the score. It is 0-0 right now. And they are going to be running the RLD versus this RMP. This is a matchup that I don't see a lot, and I know that Resto Druids are actually very, very weak from the all-in that a Rogue Mage are capable of doing, so we're going to have to see if they decide to go for that. We saw TSX and So's going for the all-in on a Holy Paladin yesterday, and we're going to see if they're capable of doing it now here on this Restoration Druid. Swapsy laying down his gateway, so is positioned very far back. And this RMP is always patient with their stealth. They know how important it is to get a sap opener, get their kidney shot on the right target, and have cross CC. So they're always very patient, holding back, and they're actually just going to leave. Maybe someone DC'd or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would guess it's somebody probably DC'd. They definitely understood the quality of patience, so they left. They were so patient.
That happens. We'll get right back in. What do we have to give gig away today? I don't think we're gonna do a gig away quite yet, but
Giveaway.
two. Oh, okay. So we have 2 Witcher 3 giveaways coming up, and 1 CS:GO giveaway as well. Oh my god! If only I could throw in an entry for these.
And the Witcher 3 one, I've heard really good things about that game.
I haven't played it yet. I heard it's really good though.
Yeah, I've had people like telling me it's like the best game they've ever played. Enough that like
Really?
they quit WoW, which is like a miracle in and
God.
of itself. Like it just doesn't happen, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody ever quits WoW, right?
That happens so often that I just throw it off.
People
I
take
make it a
breaks
write-off,
from
but-
WoW.
Yeah, people are always like, "Oh
Yeah.
man, this is so much better than WoW. Oh, come play," and then like 3 weeks later, this game sucks.
They come crawling back.
Yeah, everybody remembers WildStar, right?
Oh, I remember WildStar. WildStar just went free to play, by the way. If you guys
Did it? Yeah, actually,
Yes.
I think I heard about that too.
took them long enough. My God. I was watching their YouTube videos and they got like 200 dislikes on each of them. It was like a 50-50 dislike ratio, or like
Ouch.
because they weren't putting the game free to play. It was just
Yeah,
people were not happy.
that's painful.
Yep.
All right, though we have the RLD against an RMP. Looks like we have a Grand Arena for the first map pick. As always in any WoW tournament these days, it's always going to be your fast map or your first map pick rather. So, I definitely agree with what you were saying though earlier, Supa, where you kind of said that the Druid's a lot weaker to this than a Holy Paladin is. I mean, obviously the Holy Paladin that's a live lord against any kind of comp with melee on it at all, or just anything in general at this point. And Druids definitely can just get chunked down by an RMP. Like on the same time though, if the rogue trinkets something stupid that he maybe shouldn't trinket or doesn't have a feint up, I mean that can be the game right there. There's just so many ways that an RMP can end the game against anything really, if they get a good setup on it.
Yeah, and they're going to be patiently waiting back here to see where Swapsy goes after he lays down the gateway, as both teams can actually go into stealth for the time being here for about the first 20 seconds or so. TSX making the first move up here, separated from his team just so that they don't all get pulled out. Knees is going to come out now, go into the Spectral guys. So's looking for a sap here, but he's actually going to sap Botar and Bear, go straight for Swapsy. He's going to gateway immediately on that Garrote Silence with a nice Blood Horror onto So's. Botar sitting through that sap now into a deep freeze. Swapsy into the full kidney. Cheap shot Poly onto Taylor. Triple CC. Swapsy dipping low. The fear onto Botar's trinket down to 30%. Into the half Poly. Into the half kidney. The killing spree coming out. The all-in is sick right now. Down to 19%. Silence onto Botar. The NS is going to connect onto him, bringing him back to 50%. But a close call for Swapsy early on in this game.
Yeah, Swapsy's got to be regretting taking the regular pet instead of the observer at this point. Because those will definitely get cleaved down. He'll have to go over to using his sack at some point. Looks like they're trying to set up though onto. It looks like Knees is going to be the kill target for the RLD. Not really that surprising given the comp they're playing against. But there's the setup though onto Swapsy, the kidney, and the bomb actually as well with the full fear out of the poly onto Botar. He gets out of that. It looks like somehow, and the howl comes out right there from Swapsy, stopping some of the damage. And so's TSX and Knees doing such a good job on coming back onto Swapsy, keeping him locked down. Because as you know, anyone who plays a caster, having a rogue sit on you is incredibly obnoxious. And that's going to slow down so much of the RLD's pressure against this RMP.
Yeah, and you can see it's kind of hard for him to even get a UA on all the players here now into a full kidney shot out from Soz. TSX looking to land some CC. He doesn't land the ring. Botar's going to get silenced. Nees is pushing in. He lands the full fear. Swapsy almost alone here. Prey has to go for some defensive maneuvers. The killing spree coming out onto Swapsy. The Iron Bark got up prior to it, but he's still dipping low through it. Prey in the meantime going for a killing spree. Not getting too much done though with it. Nees down to 40%. He did manage to pain suppression through all of that enormous damage and just tank it out. Mana might be an issue here if Botar's team can stabilize. Nees already down to 50%. Botar up at 70%. Deep freeze on it. Botar. I'm not sure. I think it broke there.
Yeah.
Swapsy in a kidney shot right now, but Botar's not CC'd. He should be able to get some heals rolling. Now Nees on the back foot into a full kidney with a howl on both of the DPS. Haunt is going to connect on the Nees. He doesn't have a lot of cooldowns left. Power Infusion, Penance trying to top himself here. Down to 40% mana, expending so much, healing so inefficiently like this. Cheap shots out from Prey onto Soz here, swapping over to him with no feint. He's going to have to Cloak of Shadows and spam it. Throws Prey into a gouge, looking to set up onto Swapsy once again here, but without any CC, it's going to be hard. The Deep Freeze Blink into Ring of Frost coming out here onto Botar is going to land full. Now Swapsy actually pulls out an Imp and dispels it instantly is what he's doing, and it's going to get him out of the CC. The killing spree coming out onto Swapsy. Botar trinkets out of it, gets the Iron Bark onto Swapsy, still taking an immense amount of pressure now into a half poly, down to 40% even through his Dark Regeneration. Botar should be able to pick him up here, gets the Swift Mend off. Now into a kidney though, with a poly onto Prey. He does get dispelled out of it, throw a kidney over onto Nees, but I don't think he's going to solo him with no dots out from Swapsy.
Yeah, you got to be feeling bad for Swapsy right now. He can't even put any pressure out with the Rogue riding on him like this. But now I see why he was playing Sack, though. He's choosing to try and get the polys of the deeps off of Botar, so that makes sense at least. So the RLD is starting to pick up a little bit more in terms of pressure. Nees is already rotting down in terms of mana. He's definitely running low, but at this point, Swapsy into the bomb right there. This is going to be scary for Botar. He goes and he blinks right into it. Looks like he's going to be able to try and keep Swapsy alive. Gets the looks like he gets a full poly. Gets it dispelled instantly, but it's going to probably be the game. He's on a 10k, the killing spree.
Whoa, both cross kills, dude. Warlock down and Disc Freeze down as well. And a combat rogue Resto Druid's going to look pretty strong in this matchup with Soz and TSX already rotted down to 50%, but both players going for the all-in. Soz going to be going for a re-stealth. He's not giving up. Poly's being spammed out here onto Prey. He might even go and sit down for a drink here. I'm not sure if they made a refreshment table to try and get a reset here. I don't think he's got it. They're looking to maybe try and kill Botar. He doesn't have a trinket. Opening onto Prey. He has feint. The cheap shot comes out. The Adrenaline Rush is going to be used here as well. The Iron Bark used to answer it. As long as Botar is using his cooldowns, I don't think they're going to go down. Now the kidney shot over onto Soz. He's going to have to trinket out of that. Start kiting away. Kona Cold Slow up from TSX. He's going to deep Botar on his clone cast here. Looking to land a full polymorph onto him. Prey is alone here, but he's got feint up. Soz is in panic mode right now, trying to get a re-stealth. But he's got Fairy Fire. He's going to have to line of sight for quite some time until Fairy Fire fades. Prey should be able to catch up in the time being, and he's going to. Puts him into a full kidney with no trinket. Shadow Reflection gets popped. The offensive cloak on the polymorph. Botar goes in for the bash, and Soz is going to go down. Prey and Botar finishing up the 2v2, but an early cross kill coming out in game 1.
Yeah, that was definitely impressive. And look at the damage there out of both teams. It's so crazy to me just having a rogue sit on you the entire game. How detrimental it is, and like to you to be able to play the game. So obviously being able to put up 1.5 mil damage to TSX, a mage, putting up 2.5. He's in the game a little bit longer, but still, it's so crazy to me that a rogue really shuts down a caster that much.
That cross kill though.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate when you end up with a cross kill where it's double DPS and the double DPS are really low on CDs and they're up against like a hero DPS, because you know it's very, very hard for them to come back from that. But we've definitely seen crazier things in WoW tournaments, right?
Oh yeah. We have seen some pretty crazy cross kills in the past, but that was definitely one of them. I think I tweeted out a photo of that just now, yeah. That was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Ugh. So we are aware of the audio delay, guys. We are working on it, and we're trying to resolve it backstage right now. We appreciate you guys sticking with us on that.
Yeah, we always appreciate it. So what kind of map pick do you expect from these guys?
I feel like they're going to be a little bit distraught getting the kill there and dying in a cross kill situation.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, we were close, and then it's It's just, I don't know. I think I would feel pretty bad after that. Like, feels bad, man. That's how the RMP is right now. As far as map selection, anything small, really. Maybe Dalaran, maybe Runes. Seemed like they're going after Swapsy a lot. So a map like Blade's Edge, I don't think will work out for them too well. Even Tolvaron probably won't work out too well for them. They had a 6 CC chain in the opener, almost taking them out in the first like 40 seconds, but they weren't able to finish the job, and that's what you have to do to be able to win. And the cross kill ended up happening later in the game, so they are going to have to keep playing it out in this series if they want to make a comeback.
Believe, man, I believe.
Runes of Lordaeron.
Nice.
Going with a small map choice. I think Anthony might be having a problem.
We added some Ring of Valor in here. We had that yesterday. We did the Ring of Valor at the very end of the day. Oh, looks like Anthony
Anthony
got a
having a
quick DC here.
AJ will fill in.
I will. It's gonna be really awkward though because you're in game and I'm watching the other stream, so you're gonna be 3 seconds ahead of me, and it's
You're
gonna be really
gonna sound
awkward.
smart, and I'm gonna sound out. That's what's gonna happen.
Yes.
You
So
should just
okay.
do funny noises.
Okay, I could do that.
We do.
I can just hype it up all game, you know.
Just like, I'll do this. I want to try solo, and you just make funny noises when people get low. Because
Okay,
I don't think
alright,
it'll work out. I don't think it'll work out if you're 3 seconds ahead and I'm 3 seconds behind.
Okay, all right. I'll do the hype noises. You got it, man. Let's do it. Let's kill it.
We can do it here like this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
On Runes of Lordaeron, both teams in stealth for the time being. TSX now going into Invis. Knee's going to be using that Spectral guys here shortly. Looking to get a sap here early on. So's trying to find a target. He's going to sap Swapsy. Botar comes out of stealth. Knees with the power infusion very early. It's going to land a fear onto Botar. Now they're opening onto Swapsy once again. Garrote Silence comes through. The Frozen Orb as well. Kidney shot onto Knees. Prey going for a cross kill. But Swapsy's the one who's in trouble. He got the imp out and went for a double singed magic dispel and didn't get the ring off. So a bit of a wasted time there. Botar was able to sit through the CC, however, and top him off there with the NS Ironbark. TSX's Icy Veins is going to be fading as well as Knees' Power Infusion, and that opener has been diffused completely. Now Botar caught into a full blind, choosing to sit through this. Swapsy portals back into the room, hiding as far away from both of these DPS as possible. Botar gets sapped out of the blind. Fear onto Prey. He's going to have to sit through that. Botar into a deep freeze on his trinket. Swapsy popping the Dark Soul to try and get something rolling here, but it's so hard for him to get dots up, dealing with so many interrupts and silences. Prey putting the kidney shot onto Knees, but he gets polyed on it. Botar not able to dispel him too quickly there, and Knees is going to be able to sit through that kidney completely and keep his team topped off here. His mana doing pretty well here. A minute and a half into the game, Swapsy not getting anything done with that Dark Soul. Killing Spree coming out onto Knees. Killing Spree coming out from So's onto Botar's. Both healers in trouble here. Pain Suppression and Barkskin being used on each given side here. Down to 22% into the DR. Decrease down to 18%.
Oh, baby.
Comes through. He displaces away. He's going to be able to survive. Now Knees on the back foot. Had to trinket out of that full kidney shot out from Prey. The Aura Mastery Penance comes through. He tops himself off. Swap over to Swapsy. He's into the kidney shot. Ironbark used to answer it here from Botar. Knees still trying to cut away here. He's the target of choice. Prey just riding him into the ground right now. He's going to cloak offensively out of that route to reconnect here. TSX running down to 67%, but he's not going to be in too much trouble. Power Word Shield gets thrown over to him. So's sitting through a fear right now, but his team gets kidney shot. The smoke bomb comes out. Knees could be in a bit of trouble here. Swapsy gets kidney shot half though. Full Ring of Frost landed onto Botar. Knees down to 50%, 48%, trying to stay alive. He goes into his barrier here to reduce as much damage as possible. Prey getting polyed. Swapsy running into the ring here for the time being. Botar should be able to dispel it, but Knees' mana is starting to hurt, down to 46%. They're trying to go for an all-in right now onto Swapsy, but he's got his imp out right now. He's ready to dispel Botar out of any CC that hits him, and he is dipping down to 50%. No CC out just yet. There's the deep freeze. He dispels it immediately. Botar trying to get some heals rolling here. Kidney shot onto So's from Prey to Peel. Dark Regeneration used here with the Nature Swiftness, giving him big heal. Dark Soul pop from Swapsy, trying to make a swap over to Knees. He's down to 50% here into the cheap shot. Killing Spree out from So's onto Swapsy, but it's into the Ironbark. It's not going to get anything done. Prey building up towards that red buff. A full blind onto Botar. No trinket for about 1 second here. A full fear onto Prey. A 3v1 situation onto Swapsy, but it doesn't seem like they can CC chain. The Howl of Terror out is going to prevent the CC chain onto Botar. He gets the heals rolling onto Swapsy. He's going to be able to top him off there pretty convincingly, but the man is not looking good for Knees, down to 43% and caught in the kidney shot. No pain suppression for 9 more seconds. Botar into a poly. So's in the blood whore, though, not able to connect completely. They do manage to lock him out. Killing spree coming out from Prey onto Knees here. He's doing a good job healing through it, though, for the time being. The last polymorph over onto Botar. Knees trying to push in here to try and get a fear, I would imagine, shortly onto Botar, but he's just so slow at the crippling poison up. And he's just running at him like a zombie, basically. Is not able to get to him to fear him. So's using the combat readiness to tank through the swap onto him, and he should be able to do it pretty strongly here. Botar actually trinketing out of the fear that Knees landed there, using the Iron Bark onto Swapsy to deal with the Frozen Orb damage coming out from TSX. Botar looking for a clone here. He's going to get locked out. Knees caught into a kidney, though. Bash onto So's. So's actually going to trinket that to try and peel for his team. He does manage to kick the haunt out from Swapsy, locking down his damage significantly here. Botar actually getting swapped to over by So's. The killing spree coming out onto him. Into the bark skin. They're trying to kill through it. Into the silence. He uses his Hellstone. Camping in bear form displaces away into a 1 second deep. Gateways to the room. Down to 13%. So's is just chasing after him. Down to 20%. The adrenaline rush is blown here. TSX blinks into the room to try and finish the job, but So's over aggressively extends down to 10% into the swap, down to 6%. How does Knees keep him alive? Power Infusion comes out, but he's got 3% mana. The Penance comes out here. It might be one of his last heals he gets to use. Botar into a full kidney, though, with no Bark Skin. The Ice Nova comes in. The Shadow Fiend gets popped. The bomb gets dropped. Trying to take him out here in the 1 second deep. The Comet Storm comes through. He displaces away, and this is at 1%, but the Penance is going to take him out, and Rip Zonk is going to tie this game up 1-1 on Runes of Lordaeron.
That Penance, though. Oh my god. Can we get a round of applause for Super Teaser? The solo cast. Fantastic. Well done, my friend. Well done.
Oh, they're sticking through.
Oh god, they
Killing
are.
spree out on the Knees. He's down to 30%. I don't think he's going to go down. Deep Freeze on the Prey. Yeah, he's definitely
definitely dead
safe right now. Yeah, they're going to leave.
Oh man, that was definitely exciting watching that. I had to come back in for about halfway through, but wow,
How are the ambient noises?
pretty good,
The ambient noises.
pretty good.
Thank you, I try.
You just get like some guy in the background like excitedly screaming at something. It's always good, always good.
That's all you need, man.
Yeah, that's really like the stuff of videos. You know, that's what people make videos from nowadays, and it works. It really does. All right.
Oh, you want? I kind of want to try something. Let's see.
Okay.
I want to try something to fix the delay. I don't know if it's going to or not, or if it's going to cause more lag, but I'm going to try and watch that on my left monitor, have the game moving and move my camera on the left monitor, but commentate what's going on my right monitor.
This sounds so complicated. I don't know.
So can we try
Next
it?
level plays out of
Can we
subterfuge.
try
Yeah,
it?
that will definitely fix the audio
That will fix
delay.
it.
What's interesting though, I don't understand why the audience is even complaining about this if you really think about it, because it makes the audio commentating better, as opposed to like if you were behind the video, that would be unwatchable. But to be in front of the video, I think is actually good. Maybe I'm
Spoilers.
wrong.
Just open.
100%.
They say spoilers, but I guarantee you 99% of these people watching like would never even know what's going on if Suppa wasn't telling them. So how is it spoilers, you know? Like maybe for 1% it's a spoiler.
Whoa. Shots fired at Twitch chat. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, so I've got it open, and I'm gonna try and do something here. You guys open it, or Anthony at least.
Yeah, let me see if I can get
Yeah,
it
I
to
think I
it.
linked.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
There.
All right. So I'll try it. Oh my! I'm gonna get mined. Like
Mine's
I
good.
have
Just
to-
put it
I
on
have-
melee a lot.
I have
Just
to
sit it on, like,
I'm gonna
melee
move the
target.
camera on this monitor but cast it from my other monitor that's 5 seconds ahead or behind.
Yeah.
I've minimized it a bit so it's tinier and easier to see.
Your audio is live. The video is 3 seconds behind your audio in terms of sync. So if you do that, it should sync up.
Hey, I want to give a shout out. We did get a donation from Dennett for $25. Thank you so much, dude. Very much appreciated. That's awesome. And he did not leave a note, but thank you.
This is like the part where you're supposed to queue.
Yeah,
up
meta
the
class.
slow clap
Don't call
video.
99% of the viewers shit. Jeez, meta class.
Yeah, that was meta class that said that, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
God damn meta class.
This is going to be the hardest thing in the world, but I'm going to try and do it so there's no delay. All right.
Things
got
that
it.
Super
I
does
believe
for
in you,
his
Suffer.
viewers, right?
Yeah.
Super does things for his viewers that no one else would do.
Hey, Blade's Edge.
Okay, Blades Arena. Swapsy realizing that he's been a primary kill target wants to have the Z-axis advantage, and it's
Yeah.
going to force him to go into Botar. But the thing is, if Botar knows he's the target, he can be better prepared for it. So it's kind of forcing the RMP to make that choice by going to this map. So it's a smart decision here from the RLD when the Q decides to pop. And
Oh,
oh my god, this is going to be so hard.
You got it, man. You got it.
That's what she said.
I have to. The camera angles might be bad. I'm okay. Stream chat, like you either get delay or slightly off camera angles. That's the best I can do.
I vote we have no stream. Just we'll record
Just
it.
go black and we can speak to you. That way, it's not spoilers if you can't see anything.
There you go.
Just turn Gladiator Losa on and just have nobody shoutcasting. Just
Yes!
show the video.
Wait, actually though, can
I
somebody
feel like that
set
could.
up-
I feel like that could work.
I actually feel like somebody could do that. I'd really be interested to watch it if it happened.
Dude, that would just be like banishing, dropping table. Fear,
You could
fear,
turn that off.
fear,
You could turn
fear.
off the stupid part.
Resurrection.
You'd have Chinimals join the arena, just fear, 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 fear. All right, finally, there's the
When we
cue
get to
pop.
God Cop,
Just
Polly,
do it.
Polly, Polly, Polly.
Yeah.
We got a queue.
Okay,
Beautiful.
refresh the thing right now.
All right.
Oh man, this is gonna be rough. But all right, I'm gonna follow somebody that doesn't go into stealth, so it doesn't drop the camera at all, and
So not a
it
rogue.
doesn't reset.
Put it on the mage.
This is so hard. I'm getting mine.
Or no, just put it on the priest. Put it on the priest because he's gonna get trained on
he's
that.
gonna go into spect. I'm putting it on the lock. The lock is the
Will it
only
drop
player
for
that
this?
can't go into stealth and drop my frame randomly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just ignoring my left monitor. This is being the camera person and watching it 5 seconds in delay. I'm sorry if something goes half like hectic, I can't really be held
I mean-
accountable.
Really, if you think about it, like you're seeing the future and directing it, right?
I guess no,
Yeah,
I
there you
can't.
go.
I can't look at two places at once.
Yeah, but you're directing it, so there you go. All right, so we get the gateway down from Swapsies, and both of the rogues are running in, trying to see if they can get early saps on anybody. He gets the sap on a Botar right there. That's going to be a really good start for them, but they need to actually open up onto somebody else, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and put a bomb down onto Botar. He's trying to get out of that. Still stuck in. He goes ahead and presses his bark skin right away. He's not into bear, or he actually is in bear form. He gets rung on that really quick. He presses his on use. I would assume he's going to try an NS right here. He gets the Hellstone off before the NS. There's the NS. He shadow melts as well. He might just die.
Die.
Indeed does die through the Hellstone, both sparks, bear form, and a Hellstone as well as an S. So you can't say he didn't try.
Anthony, I think you're still ahead, man. You also have to.
Oh, I'm
Get
just
off of the restream.
I just know.
So
You just know.
70s goes back in time, and you stay there in the future.
You know, no,
Make
no,
his
okay,
time
so,
travel completely
to be
pointless.
fair,
Oh
to be
my
fair. All right,
goodness.
so what happened there was I have both of them on full screen, right? So to me, they looked very much the same. But yeah, that's what happened right there.
We'll work it out.
We'll work it out another time, right?
The dream.
Well, that was a very decisive game, though. What are you guys' thoughts about that?
Rip. I mean,
So Knees goes forward, right? That was it. Rip Zonk is continuing.
It's one of those things where like they picked Blaze Edge. They knew it was going to happen. He tried to do something to stop it, and it didn't matter. He died. I don't know. They should. I would have been prepared for the no buff spree. Like Rogue Mage is like that's what they do now to Resto Druids. It's one of the best ways for them to take them out because most Resto Druids are like, I can't skin. He doesn't have red. I can't skin. I can't skin. What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? And then you're down to
Then they die.
40%, and the killing spree. You're like, skin? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm dead already.
No.
Yeah.
Can't skin that late.
Well, it was just
No.
it was so funny to me because it was like a very slow death, you know. It was
Yeah,
like
it's-
I was just able to like read off the things as he pressed them. And I'm like, I assume he's gonna NS out of this. He hellstones instead, and then just dies after the NS in the middle of the gate. And it was just like, damn, that sucks, man.
Hey, shout out to
That's really
Babo
nice.
Mage for hosting us for 141 viewers. Thank you very much, man, and welcome to everyone who is just joining us right now. We are moving on to the semifinals.
Yeah, thank you.
Why don't we go ahead and do a giveaway real quick because one of our
Yes!
contestants has a 2-minute res sickness.
Let's do it.
Ouch.
Wait, how do you get res sickness?
He died outside of the game after.
No, just
one
like,
of the upcoming teams. I don't know.
Okay.
He got
He-
ganked or something.
how does okay?
Story
I'm
time.
not even
How did he get
gonna
it?
question it. I want to hear the story behind this, you know. All right. Either way, we'll do a giveaway real quick, guys. So we have some really great games to give away for you guys from The Witcher 3, all from Green Man Gaming, courtesy to them. Thank you very much, guys. Go out, support Green Man Gaming. They're awesome. They give us these amazing codes to give away for you guys right now. So if you guys would like to win a copy of The Witcher 3, type Witcher in chat right now. And as we were talking about a little bit before, it's a really quality game. What were you saying, Anthony? Like, a lot of people like say that they're going to quit WoW to play it.
No, a lot of people were telling me about how incredibly good it was. Like I've heard nothing but good things about the game. The entire
yeah.
that has come out. I mean, like the first like 2 days, it was just like, oh my god, this is the best game ever. Like it was on level with like Fallout 3 when that came out,
Really?
and like I don't know if you remember, but that was
Oh,
like the thing
yeah.
for a while,
Yeah.
man. Like that, and then Skyrim, like
Oh, yeah.
both of those things. Like everybody just got so into them, and so I'm really excited to try it. So if I don't win it today, I'm gonna have to purchase it. You know, I'm going to go begging to somebody for allowance money or something like, hey man, can you please buy me The Witcher 3? I'm poor and I'm homeless.
I'm going for that CSGO key. I really want to get into it. So we're going to gig away.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. We do
Yeah,
have a
that's-
voucher code right down below. If you guys don't win the giveaway, you can still get a pretty good deal.
And that's for
20% off.
Green Man Gaming, yeah?
That is Green Man Gaming.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
If I don't win it there, then I'll have to go and beg somebody for 20% off of it.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to do that for CSGO a little later on.
That one.
Yeah, I'm trying to win these CS:GO games, but
That's what I'm talking
not
about.
working.
dude. So now CS:GO, I don't necessarily know, how does that work? Is there like a subscription fee on that, or
No.
no? It's just like a one-time fee.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a Second Life, though. You know, there's like a stock market sort of thing and everything. I mean, it's pretty intense.
Oh wow, really? That is intense. God. And of course, guys, we will be gigging away this Witcher key code at the very end of the stream, and you guys will receive a
Oh.
message. At
Oh, the
very-
winner is picked now, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
the
the
winner's
winner's
picked
picked.
now, and yeah, it's just Possum handles it, so like they get messaged privately. I think their name is posted in the stream, and then they get messaged privately.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hey, so you can just go ahead and message me now. Yes. Please. Yeah. I do.
Okay, looks like all the contestants are live, so I'll go ahead and queue up the Nagran
Hey.
or Blade's Edge. What am I, Nagran? What am I
I
doing?
think
Nagran.
my
New series.
my brain can't do the delay thing. I'm turning off the extras. I was sitting there like, please keep talking, Anthony. Please keep talking. Please keep talking.
I'm not
Looking at it like
ready yet.
I was like trying to be like, oh, that's there. That's not. That's
I'd have just been like, any TSM winner.
Stupid, just turn off one of your monitors and just leave it on like 1, 2.
Just you know. Like
Will it follow it all like that? I don't think it
Yeah,
will
yeah,
follow very well.
No.
It should. I think.
No.
You
No,
know.
it won't. It won't.
I won't.
That would be an interesting thing we should talk to Vadric about, though, like an auto person chooser.
I'm pretty sure
You don't
that would
really
be
need a
considered
cameraman?
bot.
I feel like that's botting, which could be like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because that's like anything that can control your character in game is
Anything that
considered
automates
bot.
any action.
How do they auto mark icons then? Couldn't you just have an auto mark icon?
What do you mean? by
Yeah,
that?
no, you could do it. No, you can do it without violating terms of service because there's add-ons that'll automatically set marks based off class.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't know, man. Sounds pretty bannable to me. I have no idea, honestly.
It depends on like. If you're only using it for like a camera, like if it's a camera add-on, I don't know if it would. I feel like it's not bannable, but it could be like traceable as like a the Annabelle add-on.
No.
You know, like
I'm gonna call the
It would
NSA
probably
and just
it would
ask.
probably just pick really bad targets a lot because it'd be 100% random. So like you would get pets, you would get
Well, I mean,
like
you could
totems.
code it so that it, like swaps to like the very low health target, like whoever's getting focused by the team. I mean, you could code it for that, but
Yeah, but that might necessarily not be a good.
it might not
camera
be the
angle,
best
too.
target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Looks like we're getting the spam queues though, trying to get into the game. So let's double check, make sure that we have the right game queued up, and let's take a look and see who it was. Oh no, I did not win The Witcher 3. I'm really disappointed right now.
It's like Frosty won it.
Private time.
Frosty, come on.
Well
man.
played.
Well played.
Frosty, you should just donate that to me, please. I hope the res sickness is gone though, so we should be able to get into the game as fast as possible, right?
Yeah, the res sickness is done. I think they are delaying the game though.
Hey, one
so
moment,
we're
guys.
gonna
I'll be right back.
Figure out which team is declining it. Oh, there we go. Q pop. I could honestly watch Floria heal like all day long. Like Floria healing is really, really impressive.
Yeah. I really enjoy watching Paladins because I like the way that the animations look for them. I just really hate playing against them a lot. I don't know though. I really feel like a god comp against Mage Boomy H-Pal. I feel like the god comp is so favored against that sort of matchup where they can just tunnel down the Boomkin the entire time. But we'll have to see.
It's one of the best god comps on EU as well. And
Yeah.
Repoly JK 200 ping is playing with 200 ping.
Yeah.
I can confirm this because I have 200 ping.
So it's probably a good guess, right? Yeah.
I could even show it. 200 ping, 164. I lied. But yeah, I think that Rocket Gaming, if there was a team in the world right now to take down Asper's team, would probably be this. Already starting off here in the center of the map, Frostbolt's being spammed out by both sides, going to be generating their icicles and shadow orbs as quickly as possible. Asper going for an early clone, he gets locked out. Baba blinks in, lands the full poly. They're going to be going on to Asper here. The Horrify comes out, he barkskins immediately. The Frozen Orb comes out. Asper actually choosing to trinket there, pops all of his damaging cooldowns, but he's going down very rapidly. Saved by the Light's going to get cut through. They're actually going for Talby on the side here of the God Comp. He's going to be able to get away. Baba blocks offensively, trying to take Asper down. Talby gets poly down to 30%. Asper going for a clone onto Babo. Feloria pops the Avenging Wrath. A very explosive opener and so many things going on right now. Asper has to run away here. He shadow melts behind the pillar, trying to hide and stealth away here while Feloria gets full CC'd with a clone onto Mageddon. He's actually going to trinket out of that clone. Asper dipping low still at 50%, desperately kiting for his life right now. Feloria finally leaving the CC. Asper reconnects and gets topped off.
Yeah, just running back and trying to make sure that they don't have to use this like every single cooldown at once. But so far, they're doing a good job on just running away and keeping Asper alive. I mean, he's definitely not dead yet, so we're doing good so far, right? And there's the clone though on to 6 months, trying to keep him just basically away from them. They don't want to get fear. They don't want to have anything set up like that. And there's the fear though, regardless on a Feloria. That's going to be a huge setup out of that. They'll have plenty of chains or anything at that point. Looks like they're going to go ahead and horror him out of that. So they're actually looking like they're swapping over to Feloria. The beam onto Babo right there into a clone as well. The sounds out on the Feloria. And Babo just getting polyed up, or cloned up rather. That way he can't do anything to Feloria. So good stop from them, making sure that Feloria didn't have to use any CDs right there. Good on their job, or rather, good job on their part. And they're swapping it over to Asper at this point, looking like they're trying to set up CC, though. Getting the clone off onto Babo, trying to get a ring, or rather a poly, onto Talby. Gets the poly onto him, and it looks like it either got broken out right there, or he didn't trinket it, that's for sure. Maybe actually it got an MD right there. And Feloria gets feared up once again. We've actually went through the full 30 seconds, gets into another chain. Mageddon gets chunked down so hard, forcing the block instantly, as well as the cold snap.
Yeah, and it's going to be the first block out from Mageddon. Babo's going to have 2 blocks in about a minute from here. Both teams are very cutthroat with their damage. Feloria's trinket coming up in 14 seconds here, though. Babo and 6 months are going to have to find a way to navigate through that and force it. Babo blinking in here. Talby getting deep frozen. Mageddon the target of choice here. He's on hypo for a few more seconds. Into the bash. Comet Storm connects. Feloria bubbles. Saved by the light procs here. Solar Beam onto Babo's poly here. Avenging Wrath gets popped here. Feloria is going to be able to top off Mageddon. close call for him. Floria actually getting full poly now by Babo. Majidin leaving the Cyclone. He's got full icicles to unload, but he can't. He's taking so much pressure. He's going to blink blazing speed to the pillar here. Floria sitting through a full fear now. Asper in desperation spamming the clones out. They actually use the Devouring Plague on Asper there. They're trying to make a swap, I would expect. He's not bark skinning just yet. He's sitting through it. No CC on the Floria. Keeps him topped off here. Majidin actually getting deep by Babo there. He's going to be able to blink out of it. A bit of a waste of the deep freeze from Babo. Talby going for a clone here. He's going to get cloned himself by Asper. Babo down to 70%. He still has one block remaining. Sacrifice out from Floria here as Babo is pushing in, spamming the poly. 6 months, taking a significant amount of damage here, down to 50%, but Talby's not CC'd. Should be able to easily heal through this. 6 months now getting cloned up at 70%. Babo building his icicles. He's actually getting spam polyed by Majidin. Deep freeze on the Talby. Majidin making a play. Blink blazing speeds in. Goes for the poly, but a little bit too slow, and that 200 ping might have lost the poly right there.
Yeah, the Horror Prone Majidin look like they're trying to just swap it over to him right now. Doing so much damage to him as well, but the Barkskin's forced, or rather the Iron Bark's forced onto 6 months right there. The silence on the Floria during this. Babo is just cloned up throughout the entire thing, though. And looks like the Bash is going to come on Asper. He blinks in, actually Shadow Melds blinks away. Good job on him not having to use any of his healer CDs right there. Majidin and Asper are starting to get put a little bit more on the back foot, with Floria getting just CC'd the entire game right now. But on the other hand, they're just spamming CC. Babo and 6 months aren't able to really play the game except for very choice few amount of times.
Yeah, Asper getting chunked down to 50%. He's got Barskin available. He's choosing to use it now, down to 30%, getting destroyed. Floria has to pop the Avenging Wrath to heal through this pressure. Now triple CC onto the side of Rocket Gaming. 6 months dips low. He gets the Disperse off at 19%. A close call for him, and now he's getting cloned up at low HP. Solar Beam onto Babo. He chooses to block out of it, trying to save his team in desperation. Actually lands a poly over onto Floria. Asper's going to displace away and retreat. Majidin getting swapped to into the Shadow Priest Silence, dipping low, down to 30%. Saved by the Light Gun proc onto him. Out from Floria. Babo into the full Cyclone now, not able to go in and chain the CC any longer. Asper spamming the Cyclones out. Deep freeze onto Talby. Hodge onto 6 months. They're looking to end the game, but they don't chain the poly out of the deep freeze onto Talby. He's going to be able to line of sight. Asper still down to 50%, even with no crowd control onto Floria. Floria now in the deep freeze. Asper with nothing left into the Horrify. The Ring of Frost going to land the full bash out. Floria gets the execution sentence out prior to the CC chain, topping off Asper in his time of need, and he's going to be able to displace away, line of sight, get the hots rolling, and be perfectly fine now. He's going to have Barskin available. Floria has his trinket. Rocket Gaming on the back foot for a few moments here if they can get any CC on the Talby.
Yeah, and they just have so much CC that every time they're starting to swap onto Asper, he just pretty much clones them up or polys or anything like that. Floria, they're into the deep. They're going to try and go for the poly here. It looks like they're not able to get it. They might have to follow it up with something else, but the deep kind of got wasted right there. It looks like they're not going to be able to get it quite yet. The deep onto Talby, once again, another wasted deep. They get a full poly onto Floria and a full clone onto Talby regardless. The beam onto Babo, he goes ahead and walks right out of it. Wasn't rooted. And 6 months in Babo, putting the pressure right now into Majidin down to 80k. The proc comes out from his from Floria right there. The wings gets popped by Floria. Going to be able to top up Majidin right here, I would imagine. And Asper and Majidin just clone and poly spam the entire game, making sure that the other team cannot do anything to them. And at any point in time, I mean, they're pretty much always going to be safe and still dampening.
Yeah, 6 months, though, getting denounced here. Triple Fear landed out by 6 months. Now into the Deep Freeze. They're going for Majidin. He's into the Horrify. Now Silence over onto Asper. They might swap it over to him. Ice Nova's coming through, but nobody taking any damage. Floria sitting through this poly pretty comfortably right now. Majidin's Water Elemental going down, however. Floria getting that execution sentence off once again. The CC not chained perfectly, and he's able to top him off, and he's able to hold on to his defensive cooldowns. Icy Veins out for Babo here. 6 months, looking to go for a Mass Dispel. I'm not sure onto what. Asper popping the Celestial Alignment to try and make a turnaround here onto 6 months. Majidin dipping low, though. He's got to be careful. Down to 20%, down to 18%. He gets the block off in time. Double CC onto Asper and Floria. As long as Rocket Gaming can keep chaining this onto Floria, they might be able to take Majidin down. Now into the half polymorph. Majidin down to 50%. Another clone onto Asper. Looking for the fear onto Floria. He's going to get deeped up here. Majidin still low. Floria has to bubble. Majidin down to 29%. Floria should be able to heal through it. He's actually going to get cloned out by Talby. Great clone timing there. there to prevent all of this healing from coming in. The bubble's now going to fade. They're looking to land the fear. They land the full fear. Majidin on Hypo for one more second, down to 22% HP. The sacrifice comes out. He gets locked on Frost. Floria has to pop the Avenging Wrath to get him topped off, and he does do so. Dampening now at 15%. Babo on the back foot. Frozen Orb coming out. Talby trinkets out of the ring, gets the Ironbark onto Babo. He's going to cold snap as well. A Hodge sat through by 6 months. Rocket Gaming needs to survive for this Avenging Wrath to fade onto Floria if they're going to make anything happen.
Yeah, once that fades and they can get that next Fear setup, that should be pretty much the game at that point. They're not going to have enough cooldowns to really come back from that. All they really have at this point is, I believe, a bop, and they might have an execution sentence, but it's not going to be a really big one. There's the setup, though, that they're going for. Majidin down to 100k at this point, getting chunked down so hard. He's going to have one block
Talby's
left.
killing him.
Yeah, this is scary.
Talby took him down to 1% in cat form. 6 months
Ouch.
gets cloned up, but Majidin's out of blocks. Floria with no trinket and no bubble. It's looking so good for Rocket Gaming right now. In desperation, they're trying to make something happen on to 6 months here in that deep freeze. Babo getting cleaved down. 6 months now getting polyed. Talby leaves the CC, though. He's able to top him off here shortly. Actually getting polyed there with no deep freeze. They might be able to make something happen onto Babo. They lock him on Frost with the counterspell and Solar Beam. 6 months choosing to trinket out of the clone. Trying to get a fear here. He does land the fear onto Majidin. A full poly onto Floria. Clone onto Asper, looking to secure the game here. Majidin line of sights. He's able to get back here and survive for the time being. They're spamming all their CC, but they can't connect. And if they don't get over here to finish the job, Floria is going to have his trinket in 20 seconds here. And it's going to be looking good for Repoly JK. And now look, they're making the turnaround. Cross CC, Hodge on a 6 months, poly onto Talby. 6 months chooses to disperse immediately, realizing that Talby has no trinket for 30 seconds. He's trying to line of sight now as well. Talby finally leaving the polys. Asper goes for a clone, lands the full clone. They're trying to make something happen onto 6 months. Poly onto Majidin, though. Ring onto Floria. Asper completely alone, trying to heal himself behind the pillar here, but dampening at 26%. He's not going to be able to do it for much longer. Just trying to kite away here. Floria trying to reconnect. They're on opposite sides of the world right now. Talby into the deep freeze. Majidin looking for the ring. He's not going to be able to land it. Going for the poly. Can't get that either. 6 months down to 60%. Talby not CC'd. Should be able to keep him alive, though. They're going to clone him up here. Celestial Alignment available in 5 seconds, and that's going to be the last chance for Repoly, I think.
Yeah, and with dampening already at 28%, I mean, it's definitely going to be hard to recover from a setup at this point. I mean, they definitely have to use big cooldowns every time that someone gets low at this point. There's the setup. Looks like they're going to go for Asper on this one, though. The coil into him. They don't have a bash, otherwise they'd probably be using that already. But right now, Floria gets another bubble off. He must be playing the short bubble against this. I feel like he has to be. And Majidin getting hit now, and he's just getting chunked so hard, trying to get the poly off. He actually was able to get it onto Talby right there. The Hodge onto 6 months, that must be their kill tiger right now. He shouldn't have another disperse for another 45 seconds or so, but they have to get follow-up CC onto Talby. They weren't able to get it. Majidin down to 70k with the full fear onto Floria. He gets the block off instantly, recognizing how bad of a spot he's in. Gets MD'd by 6 months, though. This is so bad for them at this point. Floria's going to be coming out of CC chain here in just a moment with a little bit of an overlap there, giving them a little bit of a room, but he uses Trinket there as well to try and keep Majidin alive. They're falling behind for sure.
Yeah, Floria actually had to trinket a 1 second silence to top off Majidin. Now, Majidin's completely tapped on cooldowns. Floria as well. It's up to Rocket Gaming really to lose this game. Talby has his trinket as well. He goes into the deep freeze. Majidin looking for a poly. He's going to land the full poly. Hodge over on the 6 months. No disperse for 3 seconds. Can they make something happen? And they need to make it happen quick. Babo getting locked out there by the solar beam. And Talby's able to roll the hots here. Babo does get cloned up. Majidin pulling very far into the open, trying to drag the enemy team across the map and expose them here. But with Disperse available, I don't see 6 months going down. They're just going to drag it out into a deeper dampening level. Both healers actually topped on mana. There's so much crowd control that they're not even able to heal very much. And when they do, they're able to top them off pretty quickly, though. Majidin Ice Nova chunks them down to 40%. Amplify Magic used here to try and counteract some of the dampening. Majidin making a play, trying to go for a poly, but it's going to get shape-shifted by Talby. The Iron Bark used on his 6 months preemptively. Asper dipping low. Floria pops the Avenging Wrath to top him off through this damage. And he's sitting in the Frozen Orb to try and break any polys. It doesn't seem like they're going for it. Babo actually deeps Majidin to try and stop the CC. Babo's got to be careful. Star Surges connect down to 40%. Double Fear onto the DPS out from 6 months. He's not going to let Babo go down that easily.
easily. Majidin on full retreat, as well as Asper. Talby blinks in after them, bashes Asper. He's going to trinket that bash to line of sight. He's going to get cloned up half duration. Floria dispelling a VT into a full polymorph. Barkskin is available for Asper. They need to get the damage rolling, though. 6 months gets solar beamed on his master spell for that polymorph. He's going to be leaving it here shortly. Baba looking for the repoly. That's the last poly onto Floria. 6 months gets deep frozen here. He needs to be careful. He might have to disperse down to 30%. He's being greedy. Disperses at 30%. Talby sits through the Hodge, leaving the CC here. The Cyclone gets locked out. Talby's going to shout him out as well. Unfortunately, he's still going to get half poly. Majidin down to 40%. 6 months as well, getting pressured very hard here. And the full dots onto as well. Majidin in full retreat back here with Floria. 6 months gets cloned up at low HP. Asper now getting cloned. Majidin looking to secure the game here. Deep freeze available in 1 second. Building up the icicles for the last attack here. On to 6 months. The Star Surges connects. The deep freeze is clean. He's looking for the poly. Gets silenced by 6 months. He's not able to chain the polymorph. Now he's in a whole world of trouble. Cold Snap coming up barely in the nick of time. He's going to get it off here. He has one more block remaining. Down to 30% HP. Floria trinkets out of that fear. Pops the Avenging Wrath. Tops him off very rapidly. Ironbark used preemptively. Both of these teams playing nearly perfection. 6 months starting to rot down a bit, dampening now at 50%. Asper spamming the Cyclones out onto Talby, looking to chain the CC here shortly. Majidin popping the Blazing Speed. He's got full icicles. He actually chose to unload them here onto 6 months. Asper and the God Comp just on full retreat. They don't have their Trinket. They don't have Ironbark. They don't have Disperse. They're trying to drag the game out for another minute until they do. Asper pushing in here for a Cyclone, lands it onto Babo. He's going to trinket that. Deep freeze onto Floria. They overlap it with the silence, but it might not matter here. Majidin down to 25%, down to 13%. The final block for 2 minutes is going to be used here. 6 months cloned up. He can't mass dispel the block this time around. Going for the MD now. It does get mass dispelled off. He blinks into the Frozen Orb. He actually has to trinket the Frozen Orb. Going for an Invis right now. He's not going to be able to get it off. Kona Cold connects, and he's going to go down. Majidin Floria can't deal with 54% dampening, and Rocket Gaming taking the first game, but so close by both sides.
54% dampening and 50 shades of CC. Man, there was so much poly and clone spam cast that game. I feel like a melee somewhere just shed a tear watching that. Oh my goodness. CC all day.
54%.
It's so crazy to me, like, just the CC extends the game out that long. It's like, it's barely even possible to get that deep as a like a Warlock dampening comp, and man, that is pretty crazy. I don't know.
We want to give a shout out to Waz, by the way, real quick, for hosting us for 753 viewers. Thanks so much, man.
Oh, wow.
Very
Dude,
much
thanks,
appreciate it.
Waz.
Thanks, dude.
And if you guys are just
Kind
joining us today,
gentleman.
we are moving in to the semifinals very quick here in this Gamers League 3v3 $1,000 Invitational. As you guys just saw there, it was Rocket Gaming versus Repoly JK200 Ping, and this is probably going to be one of our highlight matches of the day. There are some sound difficulties that we are working on right now. We are aware of the problem and trying to work on it best we can.
Wait.
Wow,
Rocket
look at
Gaming
that.
won that last game, right? That was Rocket
Yes.
Gaming, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it's Asper's team choice,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Holy moly, it's Meryl just hosted us
That's not
for
real.
3,000 viewers.
That's not real.
Is that real?
That's not real. You think he just trolled you? That's not
What?
real.
Hold on, I don't know if that's real or not.
That's not real.
Oh, Glinks did host us though.
He's
Hey, thanks,
that's
Glinks.
a
Thanks,
troll.
Glinks.
He typed that out. He grayed out his text.
Oh my god, troll, you troll.
Oh, it's Meryl. Oh, that's clever. I like that. I'm gonna use that.
That's cool. That's good.
Well played. That's a good
I
one.
like that.
Haven't seen that
GG,
one
well
before.
played.
Looks like they are choosing Tiger's Peak.
Ooh, baby.
It's definitely a little bit bigger of a map, so it might give them a little bit more room to run around. But I don't know. I feel
This
like
just in from the post play. Major didn't goes. How am I supposed to ring? How am I supposed to deep ring with 200 MS? Is it really that big of an issue? I play on EU all the time at 150 MS.
I watched him try and do it a couple times. It's more like he would blink Blazing Speed in, the lag would kick in, and he would be out of line of sight like by the most smallest inch. Then you have to readjust that, then go for it, and then the deep freeze over. So he wasn't able to get it. It's kind of funny to watch it a couple times actually.
Sorry about that, Anthony. I totally interrupted you. What were you saying?
Oh no, I don't even remember what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what's wrong with my UI?
Missing one of the teams.
I'm missing one of the teams too. I think they might have left.
Yeah, may
I
well
don't see
have.
them at all. Yeah, looks like they left actually. Maybe they got
Nice.
200 ping. Interesting. And there they are. They're gone.
Rip.
Yeah. R.I.P. Rocket Gaming, which is actually swept around.
Oh, their mage was in full blues the whole time. Didn't have tournament gear on.
Ooh.
Wait, what?
ouch.
How do you
Oh,
what? How do you not
yikes.
notice that? Doesn't your Ice Nova hit like significantly lower?
Wait,
Oh,
was
it's
that for
probably-
the last game?
It's probably like a 40 or 20k, not a 40k.
Well,
like
it gets,
20,
keep in mind,
30K
it gets scaled.
Well, I
up.
guess yeah. Mageddon did half of Babo's damage, and I don't think that's yeah. His Ice Nova hit only 60k as opposed to 70k. Unless the Ice Nova
I
did
thought
a
it was-
bark skin every time, it wouldn't make sense otherwise for it to be that much lower. That or Babo is just much better. I mean, he's either wearing blues or he's
That's impressive.
he's messing something up. Because if you look at the comparison,
Druid restarted. Okay, looks like
Okay.
we're in queue again.
It'll be the
me
Iron
just
Man
double check with
challenge
both
going to a
teams.
tournament in full blues.
Yeah, right. Isn't there a website like that? You can like level all the way to 100.
Oh yeah. They have that. It's
Like
the
all units or something.
you get a level to like 100, can't die, and you have to be in like full greens or I don't know. I don't think you can have any greens. I think it's only whites and grays. I want to say.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some people have done it
You
before.
pop.
Hey, here we go.
I don't think his game's going to be nearly as long if he's got like a 20% increase in damage.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Kind of interesting.
I mean, the gear does scale, but still, it's not.
It's-
you're
yeah,
still
it's
stuck
definitely
like
a
a 30 item
difference.
level difference.
I think it's 15 this season. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is 15. Excuse me.
Yeah. It still feels like a pretty big difference this season, even though it's not as big as it was like last season. But we shall have to see.
Here we go, my friends. Here we go.
Let's see what can happen. Mageddon taking off his weighted clothing, such as Goku would do. He's reaching full potential now here. In the second game, the score is incorrect. It is currently 1-0 for Rocket Gaming, not 1-1. Both mages staying pretty far back for the time being. Mageddon going for the invis, maybe looking for a deep freeze CC from that. Babo invised as well, right on top of each other, tangoing with each other in invis and not seeing each other. Mageddon going for the pet nova here. Talby does manage to re-stealth and avoid the CC incoming. 6 months fully dotted. Solar Beam onto Babo. He locks him on Frost. Deep Freeze onto Talby. Clone onto Babo. He's going to trick it out of that to try and stop the incoming CC out from Mageddon. Talby got Hodge there. He actually is going to get Ring of Frost. Feloria, though, in a poly. Mageddon dipping low. Down to 70%. 6 months and Mageddon both the target of choice for each respective team. Mageddon down to 30%. Down to 15. Down to 3. And if he wasn't wearing that gear, he would be dead.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my goodness. Talk about the fastest kill out there. Jeez. Down to 3%. He comes out of the block, though. He'll be okay for now. Looks like he's going to be able to get topped off by Floria, so good job on them for at least getting the block off. That would have been a very embarrassing loss right there, but looks like the God Comp and everything just wants to pull back. They want to be defensive at this point. They don't want to push in until they have all their CDs and deepen everything up back again, which should be in about 5 seconds. So I'd imagine after that they're going to be ready to go on and once again, try for Mageddon. They've already gotten a block out of the way. At this point, they're so far ahead. There's the coil on Mageddon. I would imagine that they're going to be trying to go, but Floria doesn't look like he's even sitting in CC. He just got locked right there. The R Mastery on the silence right away. Talby into the deep. Babo in the clone, trying to get the cross CC right there. Gets the full ring on it, Talby. And looks like Floria actually pre-sacked that on the poly, but it doesn't break anything. They choose not to even damage into it. The full fear on the Floria. They're still trying to get off that sack on Mageddon, it looks like, but they're not able to get it off. Good job on Floria being able to pre-sack that and basically save himself from that entire CC chain by them just not doing damage to Mageddon.
Yeah, Floria's Avenging Wrath is going to be fading here along with his extra healing. He's able to top his team for the time being. Talby getting cloned here. Pressure on to 6 months. Asper clone chaining onto Talby. Majorden looking like he wants to push up for a poly. Babo getting cloned. Talby into the deep freeze. Majorden looking for the ring. Not able to get it. Talby's going to be able to line of sight. Star Surge is still being thrown out by Asper, but it's not going to accomplish too much with Talby not CC'd. Floria now full polymarked. Majorden is in trouble here. Asper gets bashed. Talby looking for a clone out of that as well. Is choosing not to continue forward. Silence onto Majorden. Clone onto Floria now instead. Majorden alone in a 3v1 situation. He's blazing speeding, desperately trying to line of sight here. Lands the counterspell onto Talby's reclone onto Floria, so he should be able to stabilize here. Polly's out onto Babo. Clone onto Babo. Hodge into 6 months. Deep onto Talby. Ring follow-up. Does not connect, though. He got locked out on the ring, and Talby pre-shifted the deep, so he wasn't able to get the polymorph. 6 months getting cloned now. Asper realizing their kill opportunity is lost. He's just trying to crowd control the team. He's going to get deep frozen on his clone. He's actually going to Barskin when he wasn't the target, so his Barskin's going to be on cooldown if they want to make a swap here, if they realize it. Fear onto Floria. Majorden the target of choice still for the time being. Down to 39%. Trying to line aside. Doing a good job so far, hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Floria is going to be able to pop the Avenging Wrath and try and top him. He actually cloned him here. He's going to trinket out of that clone so that he can get topped off. Deep freeze onto Talby, looking to land that Ring of Frost, and once again, not able to land it. Going for the polymorph, but Talby's in bear form. He actually snags him right on the shapeshift, and he's going to go into that full poly. Now they're trying to make something happen on the 6 months here, but Floria is polymorphed as well. Both teams kind of scared. Majin chasing after 6 months. The Ice Novas are going to connect, take him down to 50% here. Talby leaving that cyclone. Floria gets cloned. Majorden horrified to stop that polymorph. Frozen Orb comes out. Deep freeze onto Floria. Floria actually trinkets the deep freeze, gets the execution sense off. It's going to top off Majorden, but a small victory for Rocket Gaming getting Floria's trinket out of the way.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they just need to get through everything else. They still have Bubble to get through. I mean, every minute they have another set of cooldowns to go through on Majorden, basically. It's kind of daunting as something where it's a setup comp, but as God comp, they definitely have the CC to do it. And right now, both the teams are just kind of letting the DRs reset, falling back, making sure they're all fully rebuffed and everything. And Mabo actually used Amplify Magic there. I'm not sure if he's just trying to protect a buff or something, but he put it up for sure on everybody, so kind of interesting. But
I think Majorden might be on tilt a little bit, just bouncing around quite a bit, trying to land a polymorph over and over like that, and he just can't. Horrify on the Asper. He does have Barskin available. The damage doesn't seem to be following up. Finally, the damage coming through. He's going to trinket out of the bash, Displacer away. He's trying to hold on to his Barskin, a bit of a greedy play. Saved by the Light's going to proc. They're going to cut through it. Now he's still choosing not to Barskin. Down to 20% HP. He might just go down. Floria pops the Avenging Wrath to try and keep him alive in a greedy play. Floria is going to be able to cover it with that Avenging Wrath. 6 months in the meantime had to be iron barked by Talby, rolling the hots now. 6 months actually getting cloned here at a low HP as we're trying to split the DPS onto Bobble a little bit, takes him down to 70%, but Asper and Floria on the defense, waiting for their major cooldowns to become available once again here, and dampening finally kicking in. Going to be playing a factor shortly. Floria into the deep freeze. Babo looking for the poly. Going to land the Frostjaw instead. Asper into the Horrify. Still has that Barkskin available, and he's still trying to hold on to it. Kiting away in bear form. He does choose to Barkskin there as the Ice Nova connects down to 50% here, looking to try and clone 6 months. He did Spectral Guys to avoid it. Asper still trying to get a clone. He's going to get silenced on it. Full poly into Floria. He bubbles out of it. Asper down to 17%, trying to stay alive here. Ice Nova's come through. Floria no longer CC'd, spamming out the heals, trying to get him topped off. A 1 second Frostjaw. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's trying to reconnect to Asper, going for a healing touch, getting himself topped off here, but they're just going to swap over to Majorden, take him down to 33%, proc the Save by the Light onto him, Floria into the deep freeze, Babo gets cloned, denying the polymorphs coming in onto Floria. Asper should be able to get topped off here shortly. Repoly JK are just going to stabilize, then go for the offense. Talby pushed up pretty aggressively here on the other team's pillar, looking for some Cyclones, lands one onto Asper, Double Fear landed onto Floria, and Majorden, Asper the target of choice, no Barskin for 10 seconds. They have to take him down here and now. He's going to displace away Kite to the background of this balcony. 6 months chasing after him, throws the silence onto him. The Devouring Plague, the Mind Flay's coming out, trying to take him out here. Ice Nova connects into the full bash. He could just go down. Barskin comes up. He gets bopped out of the bash, desperately trying to kite away, going for a defensive clone here onto Babo. He's going to land at Floria's Avenging Wrath, securing his life for the time being.
yeah, and it looks like he gets cloned up right there. If not just for the purpose of just making sure he can't spam any more clones out. But Majorden right now trying to resummon a new well, he gets it out, and Floria just sitting back with the wings. He already used the S right there as well. or rather, he's going to have ES coming up here in a few seconds. But Babo has Icy Veins up right now. They want to start getting the CC out back onto Floria. They aren't able to connect with that last CC chain right there. They actually, looks like Floria has a thing that we've seen the last few minutes is that Asper's just run away constantly. They're not letting him do anything. So I feel like they're going to go back to Majiden here in just a moment. And indeed they are. They get the proc, Saved by Light off on Majiden. And Floria still in CC. This is probably going to be a block, and indeed it is. Looks like they're going to go for the MD right there. Didn't land it, and looks like he actually used the Hodge to stop it right there. Talby still sitting in CC. 6 months shouldn't be in any trouble. They don't have any more CC to really follow it up unless Asper can get a clone off on him, but at least right now they're not getting it.
Yeah, Floria positioned very far back, has his trinket now available. Talby has all of his cooldowns as well. Dampening at 20%, Talby's mana down to 50%, Floria perfectly fine at 100 almost. Floria actually getting locked out there. Majiden on Hypo for 2 more seconds, down to 20%. He goes down with 1 second remaining on Hypothermia. Rocket Gaming taking another game in a 2-0 lead here in the semifinals.
Yeah, so far, definitely a lot quicker than the last match. I mean, it was what, 19% dampening or so, 20%?
Yeah.
So significantly faster than the last one, but still, it's just so crazy how slow those games can go until all at once they just get that huge damage behind a push and they just take, I mean, they literally just take somebody out. So
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Keep in mind that this is a best of 5, so they will need to win one more if they do want to advance on forward to, I believe, the finals here, which is, of course, a best of 7. And then the loser of this round will go to bracket O, which will also be part of the semifinals, and they will face off against the winner of the losers bracket, which was Rip Zank. And that winner will determine who will go to the finals.
yeah, I'm actually getting that pulled up really quick. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna choose Ruins of Lordaeron.
Hey.
Kind of interesting. I mean, they definitely have a wide area to just CC the entire time, but at the same time, it's definitely a lot
Now, keep
easier
in
to
mind-
get CC there.
I want to pull up a statistic real quick. Here's a little cool fact. Ruins of Lordaeron is actually their worst map. Asper's worst map. Believe it or not. He has a 57% win rate right now. So
57%. It could definitely be worse.
Guys, we also need to restart
It
our
could
call.
be.
All right.
So we'll get to restart our Skype call, guys. So
okay. Will do.
you want to send it over to Greenman Gaming or something? We'll just
Absolutely.
Change that real quick.
So we will be right back, guys. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will be going into game number 3 of the semifinals. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. The amount of people in this call.
Yeah. Whoever calls has to remove all of them.
I can't remove them.
Oh, good.
So if we sync it to mine, oh. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Guys.
Hey.
Hey.
If you did that, Seppa, Anthony wouldn't be able to hear you, and you wouldn't be able to hear him. That would get really awkward on the swap-offs.
Start talking over you.
Should we do only one caster? Because I don't know if it's that much of a problem. And then Anthony can talk in between the games.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to try it.
You can try it. I'm going to turn the audio on my side, and then if you want to turn it on that, then
Yeah, make sure you mute yourself in Skype, too.
I have to mute myself in Skype. How is that going to work?
She's in the call.
Okay, I'm muting myself here.
What's going on? What's going on? Got it.
My audio now, you should be. Let's see if this works.
Got it.
If there's no audio, then there's no audio, but
Cool.
let's see if it works like this. I have my mic on. Can you hear me? We're not gonna do it that way. Okay. We're not gonna do it that way. Okay. Asper here, going for a Cyclone early on to the DPS, trying to fake cast the counterspell. He does manage to fake cast the counterspell, lands the clone. Babo trinkets into a reclone. Talby gets Rung of Frost. 6 months is the target of choice here early on for repoly JK. Floria now into a poly. 6 months dips low here. He gets the disperse off at 3%. They're trying to kill through it. They're not going to be able to. They clone him up at low HP, looking to rotate that over to Talby. They do rotate it over. He has no trinket. It could be the end for him here. Majin blocks offensively. The Ice Nova comes through. Ironbark comes out from Talby down to 20%, trying to end the game very quickly, but they're not going to be able to. 6 months restabilizes, going to be pushing in here shortly as Babo's Deep Freeze is now available as we're going for some defensive Cyclones preemptively here and rotate them back over to Babo. Deep Freeze comes on to Floria. Majin with no block. He blocked offensively early on, is on hypo. Floria pops the Avenging Wrath to heal through this pressure. He's going to top him off instantly.
Yeah, so there's the ES as well as the SAC right there. And they're pressuring back on the 6 months and doing so much damage to him. He's down to 100k, trying to MD Talby out of that. The full clone onto him as well. At this point, he's just using DP to heal himself. This is probably going to be the end of the game if they can get another swap or another clone rather onto Talby. He doesn't get it, though. Talby's going to be able to bring 6 months back up from this point. And there's the full poly onto Floria. I imagine that Majin is going to continue to be their targeted choice. He's definitely been the one that's worked out for them, but they're just bringing the CC back onto the God Comp. The God Comp isn't able to actually play the game right now. There's the full beam onto 6 months, the poly onto Talby, the clone onto Babo. They're going to get another poly here onto Talby, I would imagine. Not able to get it, looks like, though. And so they're just going to see if they can get a clone. It looks like they're not able to. They're just going to ignore going for more CC and continue doing damage. And there's one more poly, but that'll be the end of the CC chain. The full poly right there on Floria, and right now Majin's in a little bit of trouble, running back, trying his best to just get back into the room and survive at this point. The bash comes out on Asper, Floria continuing to sit in CC right now. The full clone comes out onto him, and Majin doing such a good job sitting way in the back, but this is almost undoubtedly going to be a block if Floria can't get out of it. He gets out of it just long enough to put up an ES, though, gets deeped on it right after, and then Frost shot again. The CC chain is unreal at this point. We're almost about to the point where it'd be able to start off with the same DR that we started with. And Talby now into a deep, into the ring out of that. Babo cross CC'd as well. They're continuing to try and hit 6 months, but he's doing such a good job just avoiding damage at this point, sitting inside of the wall over here in the room.
Yeah, and he's hiding in the Talbadar cubbyhole as it was trademarked in 2013 BlizzCon, but it's keeping 6 months alive for now. Talby going into a half clone. Disperse is available. He's going to fear up the DPS. Majin gets feared there. Floria is polyed. Asper fully dotted. Seems to be the target of choice. He does get full bash now. They need to chain the CC, though. Babo actually blocks offensively. 6 months is going to receive the Ironbark. Solar Beam down into Talby. Shapeshifts out of it here. Desperately trying to get the hots rolling. He does choose to NS him and top him off. He should be just fine as a result. Both teams stabilizing now. Talby getting cloned. Babo getting swapped to, getting punished for that offensive block. Now going into the Talbadar cubby hole as well. The entire team just trying to hide in this little cubby. And he is going to be able to survive for the time being. Talby sitting through some polymorphs. Asper in trouble. Floria's Avenging Wrath has to be used here along with the Bark Skin to keep him stable. He does manage to top him off. Talby into the Deep Freeze. Majin looking for a poly. Lands the half poly. Hodge on the 6 months. Babo the target of choice. Asper, though, is the one in trouble down at 50. Babo now at 30%. Has no blocks left for 20 seconds. He has to stay alive for 20 more seconds. Talby's still getting re-CC'd into the half clone. Now 6 months fully cloned. Getting the heals rolling onto Babo here. The Star Surge is doing so much pressure. Talby is not able to top him off completely. Babo actually chooses to trinket out of that clone, but Talby's into a full poly. Still no block for 6 seconds. Can they take him down in 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds? Don't think it's going to happen. Babo's going to have another block available now. Floria actually maybe getting swapped to. He's fully fully dotted on that deep freeze. Now into the Frostjaw. Majidin definitely the target here. Floria trinkets out of the poly, gets the beacon onto Majidin here to proc as Majidin is on hypo for about 5 more seconds, I believe, down to 50%. Talby gets clones, trying to make some counter pressure happen onto 6 months in that full Hodge at 80% HP. Denounces flying in from Floria. Majidin trying to get the pressure rolling, building up the icicles for the next attack, landing a full poly onto Talby. Talby did pre-Iron Bark it, giving 6 months a little bit of time here to think about dispersing. He's getting pretty low, down to 30%. Asper is deep frozen. Talby leaves the CC, gets the NS off, poly onto Floria, but a clone onto Babo, a 1 second poly onto Talby, and basically just CC onto everybody at this point. Poly onto Babo, bash now onto Talby. It's DR'd, fortunately for him, but now into the full clone on his Displacer Beast, trying to reconnect with 6 months and top him off and keep him aggressive onto Majidin. Majidin down to 30%. Floria pops the Avenging Wrath. Execution sentence tops him off very quickly, but that was the save by the light proc as well.
Yeah, so definitely right now, their CDs, or rather the trinket for Floria is going to be up in about a minute. He doesn't have any yes right now. All he really has for just this particular moment is going to be bubble. And you can see the CC chain's already coming back up right now. Majidin in a little bit of trouble right now. You can see that if they can keep on getting any more chains onto Floria, then they can definitely set up a kill on Majidin. And the Ice Nova's coming. The deep falls onto Floria. They might have one more chain if they can get a clone off. Looks like they don't get the clone off there. Majidin down to 90k HP right now. 80k. Going to have to force a block. 6 months down to so at this point that he's probably not going to be able to MD anything anymore. And he looks like he's just going to continue going. Babel gets locked right there. It looks like on a poly. And 6 months put into a Hodge. So you got a full ring there onto Talby. Floria into the poly at the same time, though, forces it to disperse. And Talby comes out of that trying to top him off. And the disperse was used almost unnecessarily, but they were trying to play really safe right there. And it looks like the deep comes into Floria. The chain is just never ending on these guys. Majidin taking so much damage right now. Keep in mind, he doesn't have a block for at least 50 seconds at this point.
Yep, and as you said, no block for 45 seconds. Asper getting bopped out of the bash, I believe, but he gets cloned up by Talby, rotating those clones over and over. Dampening now playing a factor at 8%. This is the last chance for Repoly JK to make a comeback. If they lose this game, they'll be forced down to the loser's bracket. Babo getting polyed right now. Fear on the Majidin. It's going to break to the damage here. Floria caught into a deep freeze. Babo looking for the poly. He's going to land the full poly. Silence on the Majidin. Ice Novas connect. Frostbolt's flying at him. He's trying to line a side. Talby displaces in. Pre-Iron Bark 6 months at full HP. Trying to go for a Cyclone now. Lands the Cyclone full onto Floria. Majidin down to 50%. Trying to line a sight here for the incoming damage. No block for 8 seconds. He has to survive for that period of time. 5 more seconds. 4 more seconds. 3 more seconds. 2 more seconds. He's going to have a block in 1. Stay by the light procs. Now he has a block available should he choose to use it. Spamming the spell steals out to try and hold it as long as he can. Floria is going to trinket. Execution sense with the Avenging Wrath. Tops him off rapidly. 6 months here is going to trinket offensively. A Solar Beam onto Babo. Deep Freeze onto Talby. Looking for the Ring of Frost. They're going to land the Ring of Frost, securing it onto 2 players. 6 months gets locked out on the Mass Dispel. Has to forced to run through the ring. He lands the Defensive Fear onto Asper. Dispelled immediately by Floria. They're dotting up Floria. Maybe looking for a swap here. The Shadow Fiend gets popped, but 6 months is in trouble. No disperse for 20 seconds. Denounce is flying in from Floria to try and finish the job onto 6 months. Talby has to trinket, realizing the situation. He has to keep him reasonably topped off here. Still down at 50%, 60%. He does manage to get topped off here by Talby's Genesis, though. Babo getting spam cloned. Still able to stabilize, though. Asper now getting cloned by Talby. Talby full polyed. Hodge onto 6 months. He is fully hotted. He's trying to sit through this. Denounce is flying in. All the pre-hots doing a lot of work right there. Floria now polyed. Majidin with 1 block remaining. Comet Storm comes in. Deep Freeze and Fear onto Floria. Overlapped a little bit here. Silence onto Majidin. Devouring Plague comes onto him. Saved by the Light's going to proc. He does receive a big execution sentence, taking him back to 60%. He does have 1 more block remaining should he need to use it. A half poly onto Floria. Solar Beam defensively onto Babo. Full clone onto Talby. It was overlapped with the polymorph. Overlapping CC at this point of the game is so critical. Talby's going to be able to leave it. He did pre-Iron Bark it as well. Now with no more diminishing returns left for Talby, he should be able to pick him up here shortly. The Dispersed Force nonetheless. Floria popping the Avenging Wrath. He gets locked out on his heel, though. Majidin down to 20%. Ice Nova connects. He's going to block at 15% HP here. Asper clone. Floria full poly, and it's looking grim for Majidin.
Yeah, and Floria going to go ahead and press his bubble right there, just trying to keep him up. But Majidin gets cloned up again, meaning that as he comes out of that, Floria is going to be able to be CC'd. They don't have anything really else to put him in, I believe, at this point. Though. I think he's not on DR for anything right now. The Deep's coming up in about 7 seconds, so he needs to have Majidin topped. Majidin's going to have up a Sabai Light proc for the next go as well, so that's something else to keep in mind. There's the deep though onto Talby. They're trying to get it both deeps on both healers. The coil onto Majidin. They're trying to go really hard right here. The silence on Asper, the full poly on Flurry. This is the kill attempt for them, and right now Majidin's just running around like Speedy McGee, trying to get away from the God Comp, knowing that if he can live for a little bit longer, then Valoria still has Trinket. He can try and keep him alive, but it's just going to be a matter of surviving until then.
Yeah, Majidin getting cloned up at 65%. Floria timing the heal, lands the heal in between the clone. Well-timed flash of light there, keeping him reasonably healthy. Asper into a bash right now, choosing not to bop him out of it. Deep freeze on Talby, looking for the Ring of Frost here. He's going to get locked out on it, going for the poly. He's going to get deeped on the poly. Now Floria into a poly. Majidin with nothing left. Saved by the light procs, down to 20%, trying to finish the job here. Solar beam onto Babo. He locks him on Frost. 6 months, doesn't have the damage to finish him off. Double Fear landed onto the DPS. It's going to break to the damage, I believe, and dispelled off of Asper. Floria keeping his team completely top, but he's out of cooldowns to remove CC. No block for 19 seconds. Rocket Gaming has to make something happen and happen quick, but Floria pops the Avenging Wrath for the time being. He's going to keep his team very stable and offensive. No disperse for 15 seconds either. Both teams running out of time. Horrify onto Majidin, full poly onto Floria, looking to try and end the game here. A bash onto 6 months. Asper looking to heal and peel right now, going for a Cyclone now, lands full onto 6 months. No Trinket. They're not going to be able to end the game with only Babo out of crowd control. Babo now cloned. Deep freeze onto Talby, looking for the ring. They land the full Ring of Frost. 6 months, I believe, the target of choice here, but Majidin gets Frost Jawed. Floria's Avenging Wrath going to be fading. One more block remaining for Majidin now as Cold Snap has reset the cooldown. 6 months on the back foot is just going to disperse at a very safe HP here, dampening at 35%, not feeling confident in Talby's ability to pick him up. Talby into the half poly though, 6 months with nothing left, dipping low here, down to 40%. Talby into the half clone now. Solar Beam comes out onto Babo. He's able to blink out of it preemptively though. He's not going to be crowd controlled any longer, and now is able to polymorph Majidin, giving Talby the time to top him off. The Cyclone onto 6 months. Asper displacing in, trying to rotate the CC over, but a full fear landed. They're actually swapping over to Floria as no way out of this CC chain. Into the silence now, down to 30%. He's going to be able to have Bubble actually. He's playing the short cooldown Bubble, so the swap is going to get completely negated here. Floria has Trinket here shortly. Asper taking some damage, down to 40%. He has Barskin available. He's going to Barskin here at 30%. Is it going to be enough? Poly's onto Majidin. He blocks it offensively to try and end the game here. On to 6 months. Talby gets cloned. It might be a turnaround. Down to 50% now. The Star Surges are all flying at 6 months. Poly onto Talby with the clone here. 6 months trying to line of sight. He's able to survive. Lands a fear onto Asper. Floria pops the Avenging Wrath to try and counteract the dampening mark here. He's going to get deep frozen though, looking for the poly. He's getting polyed himself by Majidin. Good shutdown onto Babo there. Floria is not going to be crowd controlled. He's got a lot of work to do here at 42% dampening. Hodge onto 6 months. The ice numbers are connecting. He doesn't have disperse. Talby has Trinket. He might have to use it here into the full cycle, and he trinkets out of Swiftman comes through, but it's not going to be enough. Still down to Majidin dipping low as well. Both players getting taxed so hard. Floria into the half poly, into the full fear. Majidin could go down easily right now. Frostjaw onto Floria. 6 months and Majidin so low. Both players want to win this game so desperately. Devouring Plague now onto Majidin. Clone onto Floria, and I think that's going to be the game. Comet Storm comes through, and Rocket Gaming take a quick, well, not quick, but a clean 3-0.
The flag ownership too. Look at that.
Oh boy, the disrespect.
The disrespect.
The BM.
Yeah, but man, they definitely came back there. Ouch. It looked for a little bit like they were going to turn it back around, and that God Comp CC, just undeniable. Just turn around like that. And that offensive block really did cost Majidin kind of hard, and that's what I say. I mean, a decision like that, like it might have saved you right there, but then it's going to hurt you a minute later, so, and indeed it did.
It's a lot of fun stuff. So now we are moving on to the semifinals, which will be Group O. That will be against Rip Zank. The losers of that previous game will go up against them in the semifinals. Then the winners of that will move on to the finals. And this is also going to be a best-of-5 series.
So RMP against the team that we just saw, the Boomy Mage H-Pow with Asper,
Yep.
Majidin, and Floria.
Yep.
Right. I think we've already saw that match earlier in the tournament as well. I believe with the RMP coming up behind, but remember, it was a pretty good game.
Hopefully a quick one.
Yeah. Any luck? I think against like an RMP, the pace is usually going to be a little bit quicker. Priests tend to, at least priest healers tend to speed the game along either way. Either they run and someone dies, or they kill somebody with the purges that they bring.
Yeah. We will see, though. But for the time being, why don't we do a giveaway to celebrate the semifinals? Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I DC'd for a moment. Never mind. All right, we are going to be doing a giveaway from Green Man Gaming, guys. This one is going to be for CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. If you guys want to win it, type CSGO, one word, no semicolon in the middle of that, just one word, CSGO, in chat right now, and you guys can possibly win one of these keys from Green Man Gaming. Big shout out to them for providing us with these video game keys and being able to provide us with this great service to you guys. So, thank you very much. Type that in chat right now, guys, if you want to win that. And we are about to move on to the semifinals, and it's going to be Repoly JK200 Ping, which is the Asper team, versus Rip Zank. In the semifinals, and the winner of this team will move on to the finals, which is the best of 7. This is being a best of 5. Exciting stuff, guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of excited to see with an RMP, because I already knew the GodCon games were going to be long. I didn't expect them to be that long. So
A little dry after a little while.
and it's so crazy.
RMP Thug Cleave win on the opener. That's all I want to see. First 30 seconds of Riot.
I mean,
Dude,
they did that.
I used to really enjoy those type of games too, but like after a while, it's just like everybody like dies instantly, and you're like, oh man, that was so cheesy. But at the same time, like sometimes it's happening because of a real mistake, and it's exciting when that happens. Other times, though, it's just somebody dies like through cooldowns like that. It's just like, oh, it's so disappointing when that happens.
Yeah.
All right, so I take it we're gonna get these games started up pretty soon, right?
I believe so, hopefully. I think that we are just waiting on either one of the teams or something right now, but we should be back in just a moment, ready to go.
Yeah, I'm getting logged in right now. Everything's.
Perfect. Perfect.
Oops, that's not the right one. It's Ruins of Lord.
Oh, do we... It's always the Grand Arena, right? This is the first one?
Yeah, it's always the
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. If I had a choice, man, it would just be the grand every time.
If I had a choice, it would just be Ring of Valor every time. Let's be honest here.
I mean, we definitely know when the game would end, right?
Yeah, we should do this if the final teams want to do this. We should do like another show match Ring of Valor today. That would be fun. But they'd have to be triple
Just-
DPS because they'd have to land a kill like
Just
right off the
dying.
bat. Yeah, because they all die like what is it like 45
Oh, I like
minutes in the
that.
game.
I like this decision. Knees actually has a gnome priest. So he has 2 priests. He has a
So you
gnome
can
one.
Frostjaw.
So that he
yeah.
could, well, solar beam, more
Oh,
importantly.
yeah, that's
He's
true.
every
Ooh,
minute,
yeah.
every minute he's going to be able to get out of solar beam. So smart player Knees here, already prepared, wants to win, man. You can feel it in the bones here, these little gnome bones.
Yeah, I'm really digging his transmog too. That looks good.
It does
Yeah,
look good.
dude, look at him. Yeah.
He's a little gnomey.
He's MVP of the series.
Cute.
Look at that. It's cute.
All right. Either way, this is the losers bracket semifinals, best of 5. Can Rip Zonk pull it through the RMP Dream Team here in EU? Repoly JK200 Ping coming from the United States. Maybe Canada as well, not too certain about that, but North America nonetheless. Magician going for some blizzards, and this RMP is always so patient. They're never reckless with their stealth. They don't run right into the blizzards. They pull back, wait to see where their opponents are, and then try and find their targets. So's pushing in here, looking for a sap, I believe, onto Faloria. He's cutting the edge here, very far out. Magician actually getting penance here, which means Faloria is going to get combat, and So's isn't going to be able to get a sap. And he's going to have to wait for his team to catch up. They're on the other side of the map. He might just choose to fall back. Both mages building up icicles in the center of the map here shortly. Magian might have disconnected here. No, he's there. He comes back. Penance to the face is going to wake him up pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Penances always do it. And both the mages is building up a bunch of icicles right now. TSX actually launched them all out already, so he's not really saving on damage. He's just sitting here trying to cast on a Magian and maybe just making sure that he can't build up any kind of mastery on him, or Faloria doesn't have the beacon on him or anything, but I see the beacon on Asper, so that's who they're anticipating going on. Knees looks like he gets out of that, he escape artists out of that really quick. He gets the silence out. He's trying to go really hard here. This is the entire setup on Asper, just demolishing him straight through everything. He pre-stacks that blind. Great play on Floria. That was so good right there. The blind and the fear both just being totally useless there. So's getting demolished through everything right now. Catch the pain sup right there. Knees still sitting in CC. So's is probably going to have to use a cloak at this point. He's down to 100k HP. Floria is sitting in the poly. He's going to have to use the cloak and as well as evasion there. The evasion, not really for any reason, but I believe. And then Asper in the full kidney right now, getting hit so hard. He's going to have to get bopped out of that. Catch the bop by
Bops the
Floria.
killing spree.
Yeah,
he bopped the killing spree. So's is just getting shut down left and right. Knees trying to pick up the pieces. Lands of Fear onto Floria. Polly's onto Majidin. Barskin still not available for 18 seconds if they can make something happen, but Majidin shutting down So's, polying him up, cloning the Dispel. Floria actually getting full polyed here. Ice Nova onto Asper, trying to line of sight desperately into bear form. TSX blazing speeds, throws the Frozen Orb to try and take him down, lands the Deep Freeze onto Floria. Asper at 40%, trying to kite away here. So's is going to reconnect here. Full kidneys, and he did pre-bear farm it, but Floria is going to get feared up. Polly's onto Majidin. Asper still dipping low here to half HP. Floria rebuffing, throwing out the sack here preemptively for the Frostjaw. He does sack it. It does get spell stolen off, though, very quickly. And Floria now into the full polymorph. Might be his trinket. Asper trying to kite away. Shadow Step reconnect. He does Barkskin. He bashes So's. He's going to trinket out of the bash. He's going to cloak out of the root very offensively to try and end the game. The smoke bomb comes down with no trinket. Floria desperately trying to get inside the smoke bomb. Pops the Avenging Wrath. He's going to get cheap shot on it. However, no longer CC'd, though. Should be able to top off Asper. Good cutting from Asper, and Floria able to reconnect and top him off. It's looking good for Repoly JK.
They're doing a really good job on holding on to Floria's trinket right now. And TSX, look, he's trying to go for a poly right now. And Floria with the freedom on himself, just running around in a circle, trying his absolute best to get away from it. So's in that Hajj right now, but he was able to just live through the entire thing. Basically didn't take any damage. TSX looking like he's trying to get a poly right there. And it looks like he got lined just a tiny bit on that, just a little tiny bit. Huge kind of a disappointment there, but he gets a poly out of the Frostjaw regardless, even with the Hand of Freedom up already. Asper into that Kinney, trying to just cast clones out onto TSX to stop up any more repolys. Good job on his part to stop anything else. So's and TSX getting shut down pretty hard throughout this game, but Asper is still, being such a squishy target to an RMX, is still taking so much damage against these guys. And Floria right now is off his poly DR. There's the deep. I imagine there's going to be followed up with the poly. It's like it ain't able to get. He gets the Frostjaw. He's going to go for the poly out of that. It looks like he gets locked right there by Majidin. Good job on Majidin's part stopping that, and goes ahead and polys up TSX as well. They're setting up a really good swap right here. Knees is in the poly. He goes ahead and instantly prints up So's right there, making sure that he's not going to just die through the Hajj into the bash and everything else.
Yeah, so still pushing through the pain, trying to chase after Asper. He does Shadow Step, Kidney Shot Asper in Moonkin form here. Deep Freeze onto Floria, looking for the full poly. He did sack it preemptively, and he didn't spell steal it off. It's going to break the poly. He sacked the Fear as well. All of that CC breaking. The killing spree basically wasted. Knees is going to gnome out of that Solar Beam into a reroute. Fairy Fire up as well. He's not going to be able to go into stealth. Full clone onto Knees. Hodge onto So's. Knees is going to trinket that into a Deep Freeze. So's is still in trouble here, down to 30%, down to 18. Gets the cloak off at 18%. This RMP doing a good job, though, so far, surviving much longer than I would have expected. Knees now into the Ring of Frost, poly onto TSX. Everybody polyed at the moment. Floria was able to sit through that full blind as a result. Kidney Shot onto Asper here, but the Avenging Wrath was up just long enough to keep him topped off. Majin being spam polyed by TSX, and now So's on the defense. Has to be rebuilding for that red buff and set it up a little bit more clean next time.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, you can see that Knees isn't even using mana, basically. He's only using mana for that MD he just put up, and otherwise he's just going ahead and doing whatever he wants, because against this, I mean, he CC'd so much that it doesn't even need to worry about the mana right now, even though it's going to be a dampening game, and you can already see it's coming to that right now. There's the Hajj, though, onto Saz. They want to go for the setup right here, but it looks like they're able to stop Majin with that silence right there. Good job on their part, making sure that they can't get that poly, but there's Asper with the Bear Root charge, going to force a block onto TSX with that beam into the clone there, right? And Floria actually was the target of that last Kinney. He actually went ahead and walled that, even though it was just So's on him right there. It looked like he was definitely scared of taking a lot of damage. The Ice Nova's come in, proccing his Sabai Light. Knees continuing to sit in CC, though. TSX could definitely be in some trouble right now. He's dipping down really low. Knees put into that full bash. Looks like they're going to try and go for more CC out of that, but the Garrote on Asper stops him from getting a clone. He actually trinkets that fear, trying to get that clone off, gets the clone off. The pain stop's already put on the TSX, though. Floria, Asper, and Majin doing such a good job at just CCing everything this entire match. Shows and Knees both CC'd for quite a while now. TSX,
I think that's it.
this has got to be the game at this point, unless he can just get away. The full poly comes on her knees. TSX down to 30k. If he can manage to live through this, it'd be absolutely amazing. Another poly comes in. The Peel Live Lordness is absolutely unreal. He lives through it, but can he still make it till the end?
Nope.
Doesn't matter. One more Ice Nova comes in and just takes him out.
That'll do it.
The CCJ actually started with a full DR or a nose DR poly, and then ended with a half DR poly after 2 sets of it. Oh my goodness. That is insane.
So Repoly, JK200 Ping are going to take the first game here in the losers bracket semifinals. I can't believe he lived for that long at the end there, the Mage.
Yeah.
He's just hanging on by a thread, dude.
Yeah, I actually thought he was going to make it for a second, and that last Ice Nova came in and just sniped him out of the air. It was so
I was
disappointing.
like, the dream's still alive. Nah, it's dead.
Yeah, it was like one of those things, like you hold your breath, you're like, come on, man, come on.
All right. Let's keep the games rolling, though, I think, here.
This is best of 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. You got it.
So our next matchup, let's see. Let's see what kind of map they want to pick out, though. I mean, I kind of feel like Ruins of Lordaeron wouldn't be a surprising choice at all for the RMP to pick, so we'll have to see what they choose.
They were coming pretty close. If it weren't for Floria's sacrifices in those key moments, they might have been able to take him out. So they just got to be a little bit more patient, just aware of that, and then go for it, because they had good setups. They got a decent smoke bomb early on, like a lot of pressure. Azure was very scared for most of the early parts of the game, and if they can just clean that up, and like it was so much wasted into it, like blind into it. Then later on they polyed and then feared into it, and like you can't just throw all of your CC and have it break like that if you're gonna want to win. And they were so close. That one little thing is really what put it over the edge for them.
Yeah, and kind of an interesting
Dalaran
map pick,
Swords.
Dalaran, yeah. Definitely interesting in my opinion. I was kind of expecting that Ruins, but I mean they have that pre-sphere, which is the really short distance, and so that is kind of beneficial for them on a map like this, where they can get that triple fear or the double fear pretty consistently. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of interested. I really hope that the RMP can like just come in for like a big all-in, like, you know, they get everything in the opener and then move from there, and like maybe Knees gets like an MD on a bubble or something crazy, you know. I always love seeing that kind of fast gameplay where everything just comes out.
This is his for Repoly JK200 Ping. This is actually their second worst map. They have a 58.5% win rate on it, which isn't bad actually when you think about it. But
Yeah, it's better than 50.
just there you go. No team actually had under
It's a
50%
passing
win rate
grade.
in anything. It's a pass. It's passing. Yes.
It's not quite a D though, so I don't know about that. It's not quite. It's almost though. Yeah, it's like an A for effort sort of thing. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, the RMP is really patient with Soz especially. Like he waits forever to come out, but when he does, he picks out something that he knows he can go for. So everything's already in combat. He's not going to be able to get a sap at this point, but actually he does. He gets the sap onto Majidin. Looks like they're going to go for
His
Asper.
kidney got dodged
What
from
was that?
stealth. He dodged the kidney from stealth. He didn't shadow step, so the kidney got dodged. And Soza's opener is completely getting kited because of it. Soz gets hodged now. He's on the back foot. Asper's going for the one shot here into the half bash, taking him down to 40% HP. He's going to click a shadows immediately out of that, but Soz is going to be feeling pretty salty about that kidney shot dodge. Knees into the root beam, instantly rerouted on the trigger. He was able to escape it though. Asper down to 63%. Soz still reconnecting to him, taking him pretty low. He's very far away from Floria at the moment. He's going to have to bark skin. Full fear onto Floria. Asper trying to kite away by himself here, down to 50%. He's going to be okay. Floria should be able to reconvene here shortly. The rendezvous point here at the box. So City and Stealth trying to find a new target and is going to be feeling pretty bad about that opener.
Yeah, I mean, at that point though, you can't really blame it on yourself. I mean, it got dodged, right? I mean, that's always just got to be so frustrating. But I mean, that's the danger of not using the shadow step on it. But he wanted to save it for any kind of trinket or anything like that. But there's the deep onto Floria. It looks like they're going to try and get CC out of it. They aren't able to get it, but indeed they do. Just kidding. They get that poly. The kidney onto Asbury here. He looks like he pre-buried it though. He should be okay. And there's that leap that he's going for. It's a pretty entertaining little leap that he's got there. And TSX getting pressured back a little bit right now. Well, Knees actually gets overlap with that poly and the clone, so a little bit of an overlap right there, but still forces the block nonetheless. And Knees is going to come out of it. He should be able to top him off, and he'll be able to come to that block. He ice snaps, so that way, or cold snaps rather, that way he'll have that block up as soon as possible. Valoria looks like he's going to be put into a CC chain right here. There's the poly.
Oh, whoa.
Asper in the bomb, though. Looks like he's going to be in some trouble. He's trying to bear and just get away from him. There's the Garrote onto him. He goes ahead and he processes his iron bar, or rather Barkskin right there. Valoria is still sitting in CC. He should be able to top him off in just a second here, though.
Yep, Knees into the deep freeze, looking for some CC out of that. The full poly is going to land here. TSX seems to be the target of choice. Asbury into a very DR'd kidney right there, and Floria isn't crowd controlled. They're not going to get anything done with this. So is eating a lot of roots right now. Majin looking to spam polys here, going for the root beam. And he's going to be able to escape this here very shortly. He does walk into a full clone, however. TSX, the target of choice, getting Star Surge very hard, down to 22%. It might be a second block. Knees is able to get out of the CC, gets two big saving graces, topping off TSX. Now the adrenaline rush being blown onto Asper here. The killing spree coming out as well, trying to take him down rapidly here. Down to 32%. He's going to Shadow Meld, try to leap back to Floria. Floria actually getting full polyed. He did get the execution sentence in between the CC, but so this is actually full bashed and poly. The poly's going to break to the Comet Storm. It does get full cloned out of the bash, however. Floria into a full fear. So's goes for the vanish. He's trying to reconnect. He just can't keep up with his bear. Speedy Gun Barris is able to kite away. So's into the half poly. Asper getting killed by TSX alone at this point. He finally reconnects with a full kidney onto Asper with no CC onto Floria. He should be able to top him off here rapidly. He sacrifices the deep freeze. They have to get that off before they go for the poly. Being very patient. They're not going to be going into it. The Frost Jaw gets used now instead. Aura Mastery used. He's going to get polyed. He sacks the poly again. It's going to break there. Now into the re-poly. Sack is actually still up. It's going to break it once again. Asper line of sighting. Knees positioned here. Poised to get a full fear shortly. He's just choosing to not fear, I guess. He's actually just going to walk away. He gets deep frozen. Majin's going to land the ring. Hodge onto So's trying to 100-0, one-hit KO him. Feint is going to be fading here. Ice Nova connects, takes him down very quickly. Trinket's nothing at the end there and cloaks out in a panic moment. It's going to keep him alive, but the Trinket force nonetheless. Asper into the full kidney. Floria sitting through a poly. Barkskin gets used here. TSX trying to take Asper down, but he's just a Panzer tank down at 38% HP. Floria sitting through the fear. Saved by the Light's going to get cut through right now. Comet Storm coming in. Asper down to 25%, 18%. Floria gets the ES off. It doesn't do too much. They bop the killing spree successfully, though, mitigating the damage. And now Knees in the full poly has to Trinket. He dispels the Hodge into a root beam. Gnomes out of the racial into a full clone. The CC chain's not going to be ending anytime soon. So's in full retreat right now at the pillar with Knees trying to reconvene. He's able to top him off. Asper pushing in for a Cyclone here. Not able to get it. Knees line of sight. So Floria in a full poly. No Barkskin available for Asper. Trying to kite away in desperation. Jumping down below, rooting up So's quite a bit in the meantime. Full poly now onto Knees. So's could be in trouble. Hodge is going to be available shortly, choosing to use Bash instead. Now half poly onto Knees, clone onto TSX. He trinkets into the half Hodge. No feint up right now. Double Ice Nova. He somehow survived. Dampening kicking in now here at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, and he definitely has just been running around, like a true live lord. I mean, he looks like a marathon sprinter right now. Valoria put into that full fear, though, so Asper doing what he's been doing this entire game, he's just going to run away at this point. He knows that the other team has the ability to kill him in a kidney, a bomb or anything like that, and he just doesn't even want to chance it at this point. He knows that they have bomb up. He knows that, well, actually, he just step kidneyed him right there. He looks like he's going pretty hard on to Asper right now. Asper has up Envy, but he's not taking too much damage. He doesn't bark it or anything. It looks like maybe Majin might have missed the CS right there, but the Vanish Garrote onto Asper and onto Majin right there, stopping any kind of peels or anything like that. The ES comes out onto Asper along with that Saved by Light proc, though, and it's going to be able to keep him alive for now. The half DR kidney onto Asper. He has Barkskin up for it and everything else, and it looks like at this point Asper should be good to go. He just has to basically turn around and make Saws hurt for chasing around so much, but they have the CC to get it. They get that half DR, or rather the full DR ring there onto Knees, and at this point, he goes ahead and just pain stops them right away, knowing that this is all their damage. Asper's just going to continue to run away from them the entire time, knowing that if they can't get to him, they can't damage him either.
Yeah, he only has his bubble remaining to get out of it. So's getting spam poly. Needs to get him offensive here. He's going to get rooted on his Dispel. He's going to have to sit that root into a full clone. He chooses to Trinket to try and end the job here on Asper. Feloria into the Frostjaw. Asper kiting away with Dash and it's just untouchable.
He's literally a marathon sprinter right now, going around the map at 10,000 miles an hour. This is pretty funny. And Asper just kiting around the unkiteable rogue, as to speak. And Saw's right there into that full Ahaj rather. Had the full feint up for the entire thing. He's not going to really take any scary damage, but there's the MFD, step, kidney, everything on the Asper right now, trying to do his absolute best to just pressure Asper into just running around like this, because he knows that if he continues to run around, he's not going to ever be able to put out enough pressure to kill Saws or to force cooldowns often enough to get a kill against this RMP. But right now, we're already up to 19% dampening. If it continues like this, eventually they're going to be able to kill TSX or Saws because Nees isn't going to have the output to heal them up after a swap anymore. And the same is true of them. The full fear onto Feloria into a full poly. He's going to have to just sit this. Asper in so much trouble with the single light procs. He's going to probably die right here. Feloria gets off the ES. He's at 90k. The sounds are coming in from Super T's.
Falling onto Feloria. Asper is still alive. Solar Beam onto TSX's last poly down to 20%. Soz gets hodged up. Asper down to 8%, 7%. And he's not able to stabilize. Rip Zonk taking a series off of Repoly JK, tying this up 1-1.
Yeah, so this is their first match winning against them, and they've got to feel good. They find a strategy that works for them. They just tunnel the boomkin while he runs around like a marathon sprinter. Honestly, it's pretty comical watching it. It reminds me of like a Three Stooges episode from like way back when, just chasing around making like the weird noises and everything.
Especially on the kidney shot from the beginning there, they didn't get.
Yeah, that was really funny. He like leaped and everything too. So like it looked like he bonked him on the back and he just knocked him forward. I was like, what was that?
That's beautiful.
So we actually have a pick for Tolveron Arena, a really big map. So
okay.
Asper knows what's up. He knows that on this map they can just run around and.
This
is
his best map, Tolveron Arena. He has a 70% win rate on it. So little tidbit fact there for you guys that are wondering. The Repoly JK 200 thing. This is their best map.
Yeah, I think Asper has the running part down. Now we got to work on the turnaround part.
Yeah.
There comes a time that you have to stop running.
You have to make that final stand, like the movies and stuff. There you go. The Alamo.
Nees feeling pretty confident running around in circles here in the waiting room. I think he's pretty happy.
Showing off that special tiger.
I want one.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm not subscribed to Gamers League right now, so I'm going to do that real quick so I can spam the GLO US spam. Welcome to US, boys.
Oh, wait, we're on EU, though. It has to be like welcome to EU.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, but it's a US team, though.
Come on. Yeah, but their servers are hosting us, man. Like, we got to be polite.
Yeah, we're the guests.
We're the guests.
That's true.
All right. So's is RMP on the far side, looking like they want to push through and try and get a sap. Once again, they are one of the most patient RMPs. They always want to make sure that they get a sap on somebody. Asper positioned in the far corner. So's looking like he's trying to find Asper. He thinks he's in the room. He's in a pretty cheeky hiding spot right now. We're having a good game of hide and seek. So's running right next to him, not seeing him just yet, and TSX gets popped out of stealth. Majin gets sapped, however. So's right next to Asper. Like, you can't dance any closer to the devil right now. Asper getting sapped in cat form. It could be critical here. They might choose to just smoke bomb and drop him 100-0. Mark for death, kidney shot. Defreeze onto Feloria, looking for the polymorph. He's going for the Frostjaw. He line of sights it. Asper bark skinned immediately on the opener as he was caught in cat form here. Now into the half kidney. He's out of form. He doesn't have any extra armor. Dipping down to 30%. Saved by the Light's going to proc it. Cutting through it into the Garrote silence. The early killing spree might come out here. Solar Beam onto Nees. He actually goes for the first aid whenever he gets Solar Beam, but So's getting hodged, and he's going to trick it there and get the cloak off at 13% and escape death narrowly, but into the half bash he goes. Star Surge connects. He has to use a vanish there, but he should be able to survive. Nees no longer crowd controlled.
Yeah, now Asper, for the next 3 minutes or so, until he gets that Celestial lineup up again, they don't really have a kill potential slot for So's, so I mean, at this point, it's just going to be the same thing we saw last match, running around, waiting for cooldowns to come up, and spamming CC the entire way. I feel like we can make it into a song honestly. And on this kind of map, though, like Asper has so much mobility and so much space that he can run around on. The RMP's got to be just feeling annoyed. And TSX is sitting in CC this entire time, getting the clone MD'd off by Knees. It looks like Knees must be running the MD glyph as well, just making sure that he can get off bubble if he has to. But there's the kidney onto Asbury. He goes ahead and he bark skins that Feloria into the full poly, and he did get the bear from off. He goes ahead and he leaps away from there pretty far. Feloria sitting in the deep right now. They're going to try for more CC out of that. The blind comes out onto Feloria. He's choosing to just sit and not go ahead and bop it or anything. And Asbury in a lot of trouble right now. The proc comes out from Saved by the Light. Feloria choosing to just sit all this.
He triggered a 1 second poly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Into a full Frostjaw. As we're still down to 50%, getting through that trinket is very important for the RMP. They're trying to make a turnaround onto Soz, into the Hodge, into the half bash. No feint up, down to 44%. Cloak is available. He's going to cloak at 22%. Escape death narrowly. The root beam coming here onto Neves. He's going to gnome racial and escape out of it. Flory wasn't a deep freeze there. It seems like his polymorph got shut down. Now landing a full poly. Asper with no bar skin for 10 seconds. They might be able to get a kill here. Down to 80%. They just need the damage, and where is it? Silence onto Feloria into a full fear now. Knees participating with the offensive penance. Feloria bubbles offensively, or defensively, I should say, sorry here. Popping the Avenging Wrath to try and stabilize Asper. He should be able to do it here. Knees into a deep freeze. Majin actually blocking and trinketing to get a poly, but he gets locked out using both of those cooldowns to try and land it, and he's actually out of blocks. If Rip Zonk is aware of the situation, they could maybe take him down.
Yeah, maybe a lock him on Arcane or something and just go for that bomb kidney on him at this point. I mean, they have kidney up. He's going to have killing spree in about 50 seconds. So, I mean, it's got to be something they're thinking about, but I just can't imagine them going for it with Asper already being such a good target for them. Feloria into that full poly. He got RNG'd so far away from everybody, too. TXX coming up to finish up with the Frostjaw into the poly on him. He should be able to get that. Indeed, he does. And Feloria actually didn't get poly. He actually is going to be sitting way out there, but Asper showing off that he really can just kite across the entire map at will. Running around and not really taking too much damage, even though Feloria was on the opposite side of the map during that. And TSX actually gets root beam right there. Knees able to just sit out, and he's just casting heals out into his team right now. They shouldn't be in any trouble, but Feloria there getting deeped on it, and then Asper with the clutch clone, making sure that he's not going to get polyed up right there. So good job from Asper. He gets the sack on Asper there as well, making sure he can't get polyed up or anything. That sack is still on Asper at this point, and he's not even going for a spell steal on the. But there's the fear, though. It looks like they get Feloria on that, and it doesn't get broken out. I actually don't know what happened to that fear right there. But there's the full poly. This might be dangerous for Asper, man.
Saved by the Light, Proxy's trying to cut away in cat form here. Saved by the Light Absorb going to be fading here shortly. Knees is positioned here, but unfortunately Polymorph is not going to be able to chain the CC. So's caught into a bash. They're looking to kill him and end his life. He does get life grip to safety at the pillar here and topped off by Knees. The penance through the line of sight is going to be able to top him off, but unfortunately he gripped him so far away from Asper. I don't think he's going to be able to reconnect for some time. He has to use the Shadow Step. He does kick him on Cyclone. He's not going to be able to bark skin this kidney shot now. Bark skinning a little bit late. Frozen Orb comes through. He's going to wild charge away. The Ice Nova comes through. Full fear onto Feloria out of the poly. They're looking to end Asper's life right now through the Barkskin. Down to 38%. Half poly onto Feloria. Asper trying to go for a Cyclone here. TSX getting polyed on that Frostjaw, giving Feloria the time to get off a big heal. The Smoke Bomb coming down, and he saved it for so long, and it ended up just getting wasted.
Yeah, now Majin has up those blocks, so that's not even an option at this point now. Feloria is doing so well on trinkets and everything. They haven't really forced anything for a while. I think the last thing they really forced was, I mean, obviously the ES and like the proc Saved by Light, but that's pretty normal. There's the setup, though. They're going to be able to get that full poly into Feloria. Asper's just going to have to run around. They're being really careful right now. He's trying really hard not to just get globaled right here. He Shadow Melds one bear form right there. He's going to be able to live. It looks like So's got a little bit confused about where he might have went. Maybe he's just walking over him. But there's the fear, though. Overlap with a little bit of that poly on Feloria. The killing spree comes out, though. So much damage. Saved by Light procs right there. This might be the end for Asper.
Kidney shot with the mark for death, spamming out the Sinister Strikes, trying to get him down as low as he can by himself, but without TSX over here to aid him in the damage, he should be all right. Wild charges back over here. Knees and the Spectral guys spamming the purges out. Does get a penance over there onto TSX. Not too certain as to why, but Soz is going to get cloned there, and Mass dispels it off, keeping him offensive onto Asper. He's going to get rooted, though. Root beam onto TSX on the Frost Tree. They're trying to kill him in the lockout. 100-0ing him right now. The Cold Snap has to be used before he was able to block, and now suddenly TSX has no blocks.
Yeah, and that was such a huge turnaround right there because now the only thing that he has left essentially is going to be his pain suppression, which not really a huge cooldown. It's definitely something that can get blown through pretty quickly. But there's Majin is sitting in that full poly. Floria is sitting in the blind. Looks like he maybe sacked the wrong target right there as well. But Asper down to 100k right now, trying to do his best to cut away through the killing spree, procking the Save by Light right there. And Floria put into the deep. He's trying his best to not get poly, doing a great job from Majin and stopping the poly right there. Looks like Asper still not out of the woods yet. Floria once again into another poly. Asper just doing his absolute best to live at this point, just running away, gets the Shadow Meld off right there, and actually gets a Prowl off. A little bit of a turnaround right there to getting away from everybody and not letting them connect to him for a little while there. But it looks like the Shadow Reflection is still on him right now. He's not quite out of the woods quite yet, but there's the pain suppression on a TSX. Knees is just doing his best to keep him alive, and they're going to clone up TSX after that swap. But that was Asper's cooldowns right there. They didn't make much happen with it.
As we're actually trinketing, unloading all of his Star Surges, all three of them in a row onto TSX. They land the Root Beam onto Knees. He's going to Gnome Racial out, but no blocks remaining for TSX. No pain suppression. Clone onto Knees. TSX in full retreat, trying to line of sight the damage here. Icicles being unloaded onto him, spamming the defensive Polymorphs. Floria actually pushing in to rebuke a Polymorph. Drops the barrier, goes for the Frost Jaw defensively on a Mage, and Deep Freeze onto Floria, looking for this Polymorph. Lands the full poly. Floria trinkets immediately and bops the killing spree out onto Azra. It's going to get purged off instantly by TSX now. They land the full fear onto Floria. He has no way out. Asper completely alone here, trying to kite away. The Shadow Fiend chasing after him. So's as well. Asper again on the full retreat. Knees pushing out right on top of him. He does get cloned, clipped by the clone without being able to line of sight. TSX now has to run away, but they're on opposite sides of the map. How are they going to manage to reconnect right now? Deep Freeze onto Knees, dampening at 26%. Asper blinks in to try and get the kill here onto TSX, getting him fully dotted. The Star Surges are flying at him, going for the Ras now, trying to take him out here, down to 30%. Knees still on the opposite side of the map, trying to reconnect, finally gets back to him. Now Floria in a full poly, Asper with no bar skin, down to 60%. Is this the turnaround? The Solar Beam comes out onto Knees. Floria pops the Avenging Wrath. He's going to be able to stabilize Asper here and top him off. Asper trying to go for some Cyclones here. He does get kicked by So's. He chooses to bash him now, possibly go for a Cyclone out of that as well. But another stun DR is going to be used onto So's. They're not going to be able to kill him. TSX has a block in 20 seconds here. Floria's Avenging Wrath going to be fading here shortly. The next setup could be the end of Asper. He does get a clone onto So's. He's going to shrink it at the full kidney onto Asper. He's in Moonkin form. He's got the Barskin full poly onto Floria, but it might not matter. Saved by the Light's going to proc. He's kiting away. The killing spree comes out down to 25%. Majin desperately spamming the polys to keep him alive as long as he can. Down to 9%. The Ore Mastery comes out. Execution Sentence connects. A half duration poly. Asper is still alive at 5%, but no longer. And Rip Zonk is making the RMP dream a reality.
Yeah, the comeback right there. No kidding.
Oh
TSX
my
was in
God.
such a bad spot. They were able to live with him finally getting that cold snap back up. I mean, that's definitely a turnaround in my book. 100%.
Very
Wow.
well played. So 2-1 now. We bring the series to. Very impressive. This is a best of 5, so keep in mind they only need to win 3 games to advance.
Yeah, and we're at that 2-1, so we're at a match point right now.
It is.
Definitely scary for Esber. I mean, they beat this team 2-0 the first time, and then they started off pretty strong, I felt. I believe the first match, taking the game, right? And then... Oh, no, actually, they didn't. These... I don't actually remember who won the first game now. I'm just blanking on it.
I believe
It's been so long.
Yeah, it has been. I want to say it was the RMP. Yeah, the RMP won it, and then I believe Asper's team came back after that, and then it went back over to the RMP.
Yeah, I think that sounds sort of right.
I think either I'm right or the chat will correct me.
They'll do that regardless. But
Of course, yes, that's true.
We're going to be going to Tiger's Peak for quite possibly the last game of the series. Rip Zonk making a comeback here. They need to secure one more game. They have 2 chances to do it.
Oh, baby. Tiger's Peak. This is a good one.
the good news is that by the end of this game, I will have grandkids. Right? So I can tell them all about it. I'm really hoping for like that really fast Gib right about now, right? But the teams are playing it too well in terms of like cooldowns and everything, and I just don't think a Gib's going to happen, honestly. It just feels so hard for a Gib to happen against one of these two teams outside of the mage just getting globaled before a block or not getting a trinket out of the rogue when he has the cooldowns up from Asper, but I don't know. So is being really defensive, though, right away from the start. He already has up feint permanently, making sure he doesn't want to like come out and get opened up on or anything. I imagine he's going to be a little more careful with his opening kidney and everything as well, but he can get a opening sap if he wants, I believe. I don't think they're in combat quite yet, but they're right on top of each other. Asper and so is Lily just walked next to each other right there. Gets the sap on a Majin, though, and he doesn't have anybody to open on quite yet. They haven't found Asper, and they haven't decided to go for anybody else. It looks like TSX also might have just missed that Frostnova. I think he might have actually hit the edge of it, so he didn't get a proc right there either. That's kind of unfortunate. So he's going to be spamming out Frostbolts, trying to get that off of that, but the two mages just trading icicles right now.
Oh, what the? Okay. Sorry, my camera twisted there, but Asper is going to get found out of stealth now into the sap. It's a similar opening to last game. Deep Freeze on the Floria. Fear out of that. Asper Barskins immediately dipping very low in the opener, down to 30%. Saved by the Light is going to proc. Floria desperately trying to get back to him. The smoke bomb comes down. Full poly onto Floria. Has to bubble it, and this opener is looking sick for Rip Zonk.
Yeah, they really like heard what we said, I guess, and really took it to heart. They want that quick game, man. They really went in all in right there. They get the Frost Shine full, trying to end the game quickly, but it's getting turned around on TSX right now. So much damage. He's going to force into a block right there. And Nee is still sitting in CC. He still has a lot of CC to sit during this entire time. So is sitting in CC as well. This is the time for them to come back for sure. And it doesn't look like Asper is able to get over for a clone right now. And honestly, this is a little bit of a scary spot for Asper now. He's going to be off DR for stun. And he just has to kite away, which he definitely looks like he's trying to do. He has that sack sitting up on him, so he's not going to be able to get polyed or anything unless they can get that spell stolen. But as it goes off right now, Floria definitely knows that at any time right now they can get depolyed, so he's got to be a little bit careful. But Asper, running at 10,000 miles an hour, isn't going to be in any trouble until they can actually catch up to him. Which, by the look of it, Usain Bolt is not going to be caught up to at any point right now.
He was playing Wild Charge previously to try and counteract the Gnome Racial. He was never successful with it, so I guess he's going back to the comfy Displacer Beast pick. It's going to give him a lot more kiting, which you can see is paying off here, but he ends up getting stunned in cat form. He's losing a lot of armor being in this form right now. He's going to have to Barskin. Floria isn't CC'd, though. He's able to heal him up. Deep Freeze onto Knees. Overlapped a bit with the Solar Beam. He's going to be leaving it here shortly. Gnome's out of it. Full poly onto Floria. Asper with no Barskin here has to bash Soz into a poly, and like I was saying, if they have to use these stun DRs to peel, they're never going to get a kill. Master Spell comes out there by Knees onto the crowd control. Frost Draw onto Floria. They're trying to take Asper down right now. He displaces away. Kites out of line of sight. Floria tops him off with the Avenging Wrath execution sentence, and now TSX possibly on the back foot. Knees not crowd controlled, though, keeping him topped off fairly well. Majin spamming his spell steals. Deep Freeze onto Knees, looking for a polymorph out of that. Pain Suppression comes out preemptively. Hodge onto Soz into a full clone. Soz trinkets out of that. Full kidney onto Asper. Poly onto Floria. He's trying to sit through it. He trinket bops the killing spree immediately. Saved by the Light procking in the meantime. TSX going down to 40%. He has one more block remaining. Knees caught in a root right now. Asper looking to clone him out of that. He does land the full clone onto Knees. They're looking to chain the CC out of that to try and take TSX down, but he's got such a large shield right now. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Floria now with no trinket and no bubble is not looking very comfy here in this game. Deep Freeze onto Floria. The full poly. Asper could go down. It's going to be almost a 3v1 here. Soz has to get bashed in desperation. Asper down to 60%. Gets re-kidneyed by the Shadow Reflection. Down to 40%. Desperately displaces away to try and survive. Frostjaw now onto Floria. Needs his Ring of Frost right now. He wasn't able to land the Fear. Hodge onto Soz, but it's going to be DR'd. Root Beam onto Knees. Gnome Racials out of that very quickly into a Frost Nova, actually timed by Majin. Well-timed Frost Nova to keep him in the beam a little bit longer, and it might secure him a kill here. Soz is going to cloak at 20% to end the game, though, onto Asper. Floria bubbles. Is it going to be enough? The smoke bomb comes down. Floria gets inside of it. Saved by the Light, keeping him up for the time being. It's going to be fading here. Knees trying to push in to land a Fear, but he's going to get cloned up. Polly's onto Majin here, sorry. Soz gets topped off by Knees into the full Hodge, though. He doesn't have Cloak, he doesn't have Trinket. Feint is going to be fading. They're looking to secure the game here onto Soz. The barrier gets dropped preemptively from Knees to reduce the damage incoming here. Full blind onto Feloria. He has one bop remaining to get out of it. He's choosing to save it. Sits through the full blind into a full poly with no way out of it. And it's not looking good for Asver. Down to 40% HP. The Barsion's going to be fading, and so are his chances. Down to 37%. Feloria finally leaving CC. He's trying to catch up to Asver. He's going to blink back to him. And Feloria has no longer crowd control. Desperately trying to stabilize his health. He's going to be able to stabilize for now, but for how much longer?
Yeah, and right now, I mean, Feloria definitely is running so low on cooldowns. I don't think he has any more sacks right now. He has a bop, and that's pretty much it, outside of Trinket. But a Trinket really isn't going to save him in a lot of situations without a cooldown as well. So Asver right now is just doing his absolute best to just sit in bear form permanently. May as well be his second home right now. And Saw is right there with the adrenaline rush, trying to just push through everything. The Sabai Light proc should have proc right there. I didn't see it. But it should proc on the next time that he hits below the 30% marker. And Feloria is doing such a good job at just keeping him up right now and just spamming out heals. And it's actually starting to impact on his mana a little bit, which you don't really see with Paladins. There's the full fear on Feloria, though. They should be able to get a poly out of that. They get the poly. And Asver just goes and instantly trinkets that Kinney right there, knowing that he has to just run away at this point. Gets the clone up on his knees, not even going for a clone on the one in DPS. He's trying to turn around onto... It looks like they go ahead and just clone him up, recognizing they're not going to really force anything. He gets MD'd out of that by Knees, though. Good play on his part. The deep on her knees, trying to get a poly, gets the poly as well. Pain suppressions on her saws instantly through that. And Saws right now is looking pretty good. He shouldn't have to do anything else. He has a Trinket up in about a minute and a half now. He has a huge shield on him right now from Knees. And right now, I mean, they're looking really good against this Boomy Mage H-Pala.
Yeah, they really are. Bubble's still on cooldown, I believe, for Feloria. He has his Trinket left to his name. He's going to the Deep Freeze Polymorph combination. Asper into the Garrote Silence. Has the Bark Skin available. He's actually choosing not to use it. He's going to pop it now at 70%. Feloria caught into a full fear on the other side of the map. Knees keeping him crowd controlled for the time being. Killing Spree, I believe, coming out. Actually, Vanish. Double Abyss. Saved by the Light's going to proc. Execution Sense being used by Feloria once again to top off Asper here. The Avenging Wrath having to be blown in combination. Asper going for some Cyclones onto TSX. He's actually going to block out of that. A Hodge onto Soz, full poly on the knees, half clone onto TSX. They're looking to make a turnaround onto Soz. He has Cloak of Shadows available. He's trying to line of sight and save the cooldown for later. Choosing actually now to Shadow Step out to Asver. Kidney Shot comes out, full poly onto Feloria. He's going to bubble out of that to try and keep Asver alive, but the Smoke Bomb comes down to answer the bubble. Asver's going to be able to kite out of it, but a poly now onto Feloria. Half duration. Knees pushes in to land the fear. He gets root beamed. He gnomes out, lands the full fear. Feloria has to trinket that, pops the Aura Mastery, gets deeped on his Aura Mastery. Soz gets bashed up. Asper going for a defensive clone. He's going to secure the clone. Soz actually gets Mass Dispelled out of it. Trinkets out of the half clone to end the game. Asper down to 16%. Feloria no longer CC'd, spamming out the heals here in desperation, but now into the Frostjaw. TSX blocks out of that poly to try and end the game here, which might make an opening as Asper is not going to go down, and TSX has no blocks remaining.
He's got to be regretting that decision now. And now they just turn around and Asper managed to live in what, honestly, like I was almost 100% sure he was dead there until right there, right at the end. And honestly, now TSX is going to have it turn it back onto him. He has to get Life Grip out of there. Really good Life Grip out by Knees just before the deep. He actually instantly and he barely even saw that polymorph. And the new polymorph as well as the clone overlapped on top of it. TSX just has to run around and Pillar God Kite at this point. Down to 80k. This might just be the game. And he comes out with a huge saving grace, being able to pretty much get him back up the half right there. So I guess we can't call it too early when we see that sort of stuff. But there's the beam there on the TSX, trying to make sure that they don't sit any more polys. Feloria literally cannot afford to sit anything else until he has a trinket up and more cooldowns.
Yeah, Rib Zonk looking to end the game here. Barkskin is the only remaining cooldown for Asper. He's going to get Kidney Shot. Barkskin immediately to answer. Full poly onto Feloria. Majin spamming defensive polymorphs, but those are going to be fading. Killing Spree comes out onto Asper. Into the half Kidney Shot. So's looking to secure the game here onto Asper. He's cutting away in cat form. Saved by the Light's going to proc. He roots up So's. He lands the full clone. He gets Mass Dispelled out of the clone. So's reconnects. Knees full fears Feloria. Asper displaces away. Double Ice Nova comes through. He Shadow Melt Elds in desperation. Adrenaline rush being popped by Soz. He wants to try and end the game here, but Faloria has the Avenging Wrath up. It's going to counteract all of this dampening and give him a significant healing increase here. TSX looking for the poly, lands the deep, doesn't land the poly, however. Soz getting spam CC'd right now, and Knees has mass dispelled his entire mana bar away, and he hasn't secured a kill. He's popping the Shadow Fiend now onto Asper in desperation to try and get something going. He's going to get deep frozen, though. Majin looking for the Ring of Frost. Not able to land it, though. So's getting rooted quite a lot here. Pain Suppression preemptively onto TSX. He doesn't have a block for 10 more seconds. I like the preemptive play, but Asper is just going to hold on to all of his damage, wait for that to fade, and then go for it. Now Pain Suppression is down. Needs into one more poly. Asper being very cautious about pushing in right now. It's going to clone So's up right now. Needs Penancing, I believe, onto TSX. TSX trying to Blazing Speed to get some crowd control onto Faloria. He's going to have one more block remaining. He needs to get some CC rolling here onto Faloria. So's getting spam poly. There's the Deep Freeze finally landing onto Knees. Majin getting the poly, trying to go offensive here, but the full kidney onto Asper, silence onto Majin to stop the polymorph spam. Deep Freeze onto Faloria. TSX looking for a poly, lands the full poly. Asper uses the bark skin here. He was bopped as well preemptively. The bop is going to stay up there. It wasn't able to get spell stolen off. Frostjaw onto Faloria, into a full fear on his aura mastery. He has his trinket left. Soz is going to trinket out of the bash. He cloaks offensively to end the game. Killing spree onto Asper's Displacer Beast is going to cause a kidney shot follow-up, and he's going to have to trinket out of the smoke bomb down to 23%, and dampening is backfiring so much for Repoly. JK Rip Zonk takes this series 3-1 in the losers bracket semifinals.
Yeah, there's a little bit of almost like
That'll do
a miscommunication there, though. Faloria ran into the bomb right there when Asper ran out. Even then, though, I don't even know if that would have saved him because they didn't have any more cool from. Once again, man, that long game, 11 minutes again. I think it's still the fastest one.
That was a
I've grown a
crazy
beard.
good game, though. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was
Can't
a
see
really
it
good
yet.
game. But Asper with the huge Mayweather plays right there, really.
Mayweather.
Oh yeah, well, they're about to go up against Manny Pacquiao in the grand finals here.
Yeah. So what is it now? It's Rocket Gaming versus Rip Zonk, right? For the
Yeah,
finals?
so
Got it.
RMP against a
Oh my
God
god, an
Conference.
RMP in the finals. Oh, the dream
There
is
is-
real.
there is someone out there.
There's second
screaming.
place money, right?
I think so, yeah.
RP
deserve it.
Securing some money guaranteed at least.
That's good, yes. Whoever wins this deserves a
That was a
treat.
hard-earned at least second
Yes.
place. Like,
Yes. Whoever gets second
Very
place
hard-earned.
earned it. Yes. Definitely.
So now, can somebody walk me through what happens in the finals again? How do we end up going to I?
it's a best
If
of
Rocket
7.
loses,
Then it's a best of 7. If Rocket loses, it goes to a best of 3.
Yeah.
That's it.
is there any circumstance in which RMP Rip Zonk would actually want? No, I guess. Well, they would always want to win.
They have to win.
Is there
If
any?
they don't win, they won't win.
Is there any situation in Rocket Gaming would want to lose to go to a best of 3? Would it be harder or easier?
No, I mean they
No?
they have a few games to at the beginning that they can experiment with stuff, but I mean against an RMP, that's a really hard matchup for a Druid God comp. So I mean it's going to be hard for them regardless of what they do. So we'll have to see what they end up doing. I kind of feel like they might just go for the rogue because that's always been like the time honored thing. At least this expansion has been going for the rogue as a God comp, but we'll have to see.
We shall see indeed. We are just waiting for these teams to get ready as we move into the finals for this tournament. $1,000 is on the line right now for these two teams. Very exciting. And I think that now that we are into the finals, why don't we do one last giveaway for the day, my friends. I
Yeah,
believe-
giveaway. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's going to be Witcher 3, I believe it is. If I check that correctly, we gave away Witcher 3 in CSGO. And then we have one more Witcher 3 key. Okay, cool. So if you guys want to win the Witcher 3, courtesy of Green Man Gaming, our fantastic sponsors, we want to shout them out real quick. If you're looking to get discounts on games, you can use your referral code down below. But go check them out, guys. Show them some love. They're awesome. Go ahead, check it out. This is the last key for today. If you guys want to win a copy of The Witcher 3, type Witcher in chat right now. All prizes will be distributed at the end of the tournament. Witcher in chat right now if you want to win it, guys.
Somebody should just donate it to me, honestly. I'm actually so excited about that game. Like I've been wanting to try it out. I've just been like lazy and I don't want to download it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a huge game file. But it's
Dude,
really.
I
like,
want
starting
to
to
play it, man.
It's really starting to appeal, man. It's really starting to appeal.
I'm tempted, man. I'm tempted.
Who do you guys think is going to win this finals? Can we get like a straw poll or something going?
It's the
Uh,
RMP
Let's
dream.
yeah,
I
let's
think-
get a straw
I
poll going
think,
for the stream.
I kind of feel like the RMP has like a comp advantage, but I mean, we said that before and they've lost. At least not this particular team, but like we've said that before, where like the teams had the advantage comp wise and they still lost. So
I don't know, man.
It's
This
not
RMP
worse.
is on a mission.
yeah, they've definitely played
Yeah.
really well. So
I don't think that they're going to give up just now and say, like they're going to take the whole thing.
yeah,
They're making a statement.
Coming back from the losers bracket? That's how you do it.
Did they lose in the first round? No, they didn't. I don't think they did. I think they actually lost to Asper's team.
yeah, they think they lost.
Yeah,
that.
they did.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a clean 2-0.
Making a comeback.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They played that last one really well, but I think the difference is that they were going for the Paladin the first few games,
Yeah.
and they swapped that around and going to the Boomkin, which is what I would say is definitely the better strat.
Well, it's like I was
It's so
saying.
defensive.
In
I
Mage
got a straw
Moonkin,
poll here, and I'm going to spam this in chat right now.
All right.
Thanks.
with Mage Moonkin, no single player can kill you. Like the only situation you die to Mage Moonkin is when both the Mage and the Moonkin are hitting you. So if you're putting so much pressure on the Moonkin to the point where they can't turn around and attack you, the Mage isn't going to solo you. It's not going to happen. And Knees was really on top of mass dispelling any Cyclones that Asper got out to try and do anything with. So he just never had time to breathe. And they were able to land CC because it was basically 3v1 with Majin being the only player able to participate. And even then, like shutting him down with Counterspell and Poly is a great way to deal with it. But yeah, I think they ended up playing that series very well. Going for the single target strat is the best strategy, I think, against Mage Moonkin. Whether or not you're going after the Paladin or the Moonkin is the case. If you go after the Moonkin, you're kind of securing yourself to stay alive a lot longer. And it does pay off, I guess, as we've seen there. RMP taking them out 3-1.
We have pretty much a dead even split on the opinion right now as to who is going to win this between the God Comp Rocket Gaming and Ripzank the RMP. It is literally completely even right now.
Is it really? I have to vote.
Yeah, voting like right now.
Holy cow, a lot of people voted. You guys are really on top of this. It's actually 50-50. Look at that.
It's insane.
Oh,
50-50.
oh,
Oh,
one
sure.
Rocket Game have a 1 vote lead. Nope, tied up again. Oh, whoa. Rip Zong taking the lead now.
I don't know, man. Looks pretty close.
Extremely
Pretty close.
close. Yeah, I'll spam it in
I wanna
chat. in
vote.
case
Wait,
you
where
guys
is it?
didn't get-
Yeah,
it's in
spam
chat
it.
right
Spam
now.
it in
Just
the
throw it in
chat.
chat, and I will throw
Okay,
it in
yes,
the
it is.
group chat as well. So if you guys didn't get a chance to vote yet, it is in the chat right now, so check that out. But dead even right now. Let's throw this up on Twitter too.
Okay, somebody needs to explain to Rocket Gaming how this tournament works. I just explained it to them, and I think there's a language barrier. So they are delaying the queue because they do not understand how to win, apparently.
The best of 7.
That's what I told them. And
Best
now
of
they're
7.
asking, so we win 2 games? And I said no.
Oh. Clean best of 7.
You have to win 4 games to win the
Yes.
best of 7.
Yeah, that's what I told them. Yeah. Maybe it's Nods or somebody.
If they lose,
I don't know what language they speak.
If they lose, Talby speaks English. They all speak English.
Okay, well then why?
Okay? They all speak English. The rule is it's a best of 7. If they lose, they get a second chance and a best of 3. They're both clean. Nobody gets any handicap wins. So if they're wondering what happens, if Rip Zonk beats them in the best of 7, they get another chance at a best of 3. And then if they
All right,
lose
well,
in
one of
that,
the
then
refs
they
need to
lost.
talk to them because just one of the refs talk to them, tell them they're DQ'd if they don't accept. Oh, there we go.
And
That
as
got
you
them
say
there
that.
pretty quick. That DQ word came out and they accepted real damn quick.
I think they accepted at the same time, man. Pretty close. Oh, but the swap over to
The Super
Paladin.
Pala King, Talvi Tree, bringing out the Paladin. Seems like
They
everybody has
named
a
it after
pocket
you.
Paladin.
Oh baby.
They even named it after you, Super.
What, Super Paladin? Is it supposed to like be a play on words, like pelican?
I don't think so. I think it's just Super Paladin King. I don't know. I think it's just that. It's pretty simple. Not really a play on words or anything. But I don't know. It's definitely a lot better to play with the Paladin over a Druid against this. But still, like, it's still RMP. It's still a rough matchup for this. But they can definitely take it with the Paladin. They have enough hard stun to just go straight through the entire thing of Feint and get the kill right there at the end of the Hajj. So we'll have to see, huh?
Yeah, we'll have to see how comfortable Talvi is on a Holy Paladin. It might be a factor here. But Rip Zonk, always patient with their mass stealth, playing very far back to avoid these blizzards, to make sure that they get in here and get a sap. But the Invis Mindseer might pull them out. These blizzards are coming pretty close. Dodging, getting pulled out of stealth right there. Full sap on to 6 months. So's crossing here, shadow stepping in. He's going to get rooted though and pulled out of stealth without being able to get an opener right now. Deep freeze onto knees, full poly onto him. Now the RMP on the back foot's trying to make something happen. 6 months, trinkets out of the kidney, lands a fear onto So, silence onto TSX, trying to get some damage out onto TSX, it would appear, into the Horrify. So's is hodged up right now. Another DR'd kidney onto 6 months. Babo actually chose to block offensively. So's is trying to punish him for that play, I believe. Now reconnecting back onto 6 months. He gets locked out on the Mass Dispel, dipping pretty low right now. Saved by the Light's going to proc. Avenging Wrath gets popped there. The Smoke Bomb is going to be used here. The Polymorph lands onto Super Pala King. He's going for the Mass Dispel, lands the Mass Dispel down to 50%, or as the Frost Jaw. And this RMP is burning through cooldown so quickly.
Yeah, they're definitely getting everything really, really fast right now. Super Power King and everyone's kind of just lining up right now, trying to do their best. Looks like they're actually going to go for TSX for the moment, but Nees dispels that Hajj off of Saz. That was a little bit of a tongue twister there. And there's the full Polyana Super Power King. Looks like he was able to get a sacrifice out there at the last moment, but it gets spell stolen off. Or actually, no, it's still sitting there on the Priest. And TSX silenced up right now. Nees able to sit out. He's not in any CC. Look at he's stone firm right there out of a silence. The bop right there onto 6 months. Super Pala King sitting in that blind, not in any trouble right now, and the overlapped fear and poly on TSX, but that was able to save them from having to use any cooldowns with that big old fear right there. And Super Pala King into another full poly right now. And right now, he's got to be a little bit scared. Babo Mage in some trouble right now. It's just kind of run around in a circle.
I think So's killing spree bugged there and went on to Babo. So unfortunate for him. Either that or he misclicked it, but the killing spree is going to be wasted nonetheless. TSX on the back foot, 3v1 situation. Comet Storm connects. He's going to blink back out of line of sight here and wait for Nees, who's just in a cat prison right now, waiting to leave it. They're going to reconnect onto TSX, though, spamming the spell steal over and over, trying to stay alive and stabilize here. He's going to go into his first ice block. Nees not able to top him off in time to be able to save that cooldown. 6 months, still has his disperse. Going to have his trinket available now as well. Adrenaline Rush being popped by So's here, trying to build up towards that red buff and get another killing spree opportunity. Full fear landed onto Nees from 6 months. Babo looking to land a poly out of it. They do land the full polymorph out of the fear, but 6 months in the kidney shot, dipping low here. Actually chose to trinket out of it and counter pressure So's. He's caught in a Horrify. He could just go down, and he's going to, unable to get that Cloak of Shadows off. I believe he trinketed into something there at the end. And Rocket Gaming are going to take a quick win here against Rip Zonk on the Grand Arena.
Yeah, and there's that God comp switching over to the Paladins, realizing that, hey, the US way of doing the Paladin God comp, because I don't see that very much on EU, at least not that I've seen much of it, and on EUS, that's so popular. But definitely taking the Paladin, just so they can do more damage, they have that extra Hajj. I mean, it's just so much more usefulness against an RMP, and they really make use of it, demolishing straight through Saws right there at the end.
All right, but it's going to be the loser's map choice here. We're waiting for a map selection from the RMP. Imagine they're going to go for a Dalaran kind of map. Something close quartered. Seems like their go-to map when they do lose a game. But Baba the Mage's team looking pretty confident even on that Holy Paladin alt taking the first game. Still just
Hello,
waiting.
hello.
Oh, hello.
Overon.
Oh, Tolveron. Never mind. I'm mistaken. I am mistaken.
Oh, I almost missed the cue there.
Yeah,
You
I
almost
Swifty
missed the cue.
shared this for a moment.
I feel like in a long series we might see the RMP like come back, but I don't know. It's definitely a lot harder with the Paladin, but I don't know. It's all about them being able to connect to the CC and just like not die. Really, they have to just be so defensive against the Paladin version of this.
Yeah. It's interesting to point out how 6 months is choosing to play. Usually in the opener, when you trinket that first kidney, you're just going to get re-kidneyed by the shadow image and garroted, but he feels confident just trinketing every adrenaline rush and trying to fear Soz on it. It paid off last game. Soz wasn't able to punish him with the smoke bomb too hard, but they might be able to take that as a sign of weakness since 6 months consistently always trinkets adrenaline rush. It could be an opening for the RMP to be like, okay, I'm going to do this to get this and then kill him in a bomb later. But it's going to be really up to the RMP to get that setup rolling to get that to happen. The RMP sitting in south once again. The Blizzard's being dropped here to try and stop them from pushing in. The Blizzard's barely missing once again. Needs his position to get a fear here early on, I believe. He pops the power infusion. Talby throwing the sacrifice out onto 6 months is going to get purged off here. Deep freeze onto Talby now into the full polymorph. Needs polymorphed as well. Both healers in crowd control. Double fear landed onto Soz and TSX. TSX trinketing that into a silence down to 50% already in the beginning of the stages of this game. Needs stone forms out of the frost try to get some big heals onto TSX. Brings him back to 70%. Babo getting spam polyed here. The Shadow Fiend is out from Knees, trying to get some pressure rolling onto 6 months, but he realizes that he's just going to kite to the opposite pillar, run away from Soz as fast as possible, and he's just actually going to continue to keep kiting and run away from him as Talby is feared up there into a full poly, and Soz just can't connect.
Yeah, he's literally just doing laps around, but there's the connection right there. He gets feared up on it anyways. He's got to be a little bit annoyed about that. There's the coil, though, onto TSX, the Hajj onto the Rogue, making sure he can't do anything. Knees and continuing to be polyed into the Frost shot. This is going to almost certainly be a block, and indeed it is on him. He goes for an MD, changes his mind on it, and just decides to run away. Soz definitely has to be so incredibly annoyed at this point. He actually uses a step right there, has a Hand of Freedom put onto him by Talby, and at this point, 6 months has to be okay. I mean, he's just basically kited away the entire setup right there out of them. I mean, they aren't able to really do anything, but they get a fear nonetheless onto Talby and Babo in the poly right there. They're going to go for another poly on Talby out of that, but they aren't able to get it. He's able to just sit there, run around, and at this point, I mean, they're getting so far behind on the side of the RMP, and they're doing such a good job at putting damage into TSX and making sure that Knees is kind of locked down the entire time. But there they finally get the poly onto Talby, the silence on Babo, trying to make sure that they can't really do anything else. And they're doing their absolute best to really connect to the 6 months and kill him, but they're really having a hard time making any kind of a dent in his HP, especially when he gets ES for over half of the HP right there. Yeah, this is a rough game for the RMP.
Soz is having a rough time, like just overall watching him sit all his crowd control. Finally, the full kidney shot coming through, the smoke bomb coming out onto 6 months. They might be able to get to the dispersion out here with the frozen orb, but Talby's going to reconnect, throws Soz into that full Hodge. The devouring plague is going to be used onto him as well, taking him down rapidly, down to 30%. It might be his cloak of shadows down to 20%. He's going to cloak of shadows there at 21%. Knees line of sighting in that silence, trying to get some heals here on the Soz. He does manage to pick him back up. TSX down to 60%. He blazes speeds across, looking for a polymorph here, actually onto Babo. He's going to want to rotate that over pretty quickly onto the Holy Paladin here, and Ice Nova actually used onto the Holy Paladin. A bit of a waster from TSX. He might be in trouble here, a 3v1 situation. The pain suppression is up on him preemptively, and he is line of sighting here very well, but they're just going to swap over to Soz. They put him into the Hodge, into the full Horrify. He doesn't have Cloak for 29 seconds, but Knees is able to stabilize his HP, keep him topped, keep him on the offense. He does get the full kidney shot there with the Adrenaline Rush, but as I said, 6 months always trinketing hating when that adrenaline rush is used, and fearing So's constantly to mitigate all the damage incoming from it. Looking for a Mass Dispel on the Fear. He's going to land the Mass Dispel. Getting Talby out of crowd control is important here to staying offensive onto TSX. Full Deep Freeze, Poly on the knees. Hodge on the So's 3v1 situation once again. He doesn't have Pain Suppression this time around. He's spamming the Polys out onto Babo to try and save his Ice Block here. He only has one remaining, but So's getting swapped to, dipping pretty low. He has Cloak available, down to 24%, gets that Cloak off, saving his life for now.
Yeah, and right now it's looking kind of grim for the RMP. They're actually taking so much damage from this H-Power God Comp. They're actually just kind of getting cleaved down at this point. He's having a lot of trouble trying to pick them up for the first hit right there. He doesn't, I mean, there's the deep right there under him again. He's got to be so worried at this point. There's the overlap, though, onto TSX, though. He gets Hodge and Coral on top of it. He gets MD'd out of the block right there, it looked like, or maybe he just came out. I couldn't actually tell. But there's Talby here into the Poly. 6 months taking so much damage right now. The full setup onto him. He's going to go ahead and just press the disperse. Really safe spot right now, knowing that Talby has CDs to pick him back up. And Talby actually choosing to go ahead and bubble that on the kidney onto 6 months. He knows that he was in trouble right there. The big damage came out from Saz and TXX, but Knees into another deep right there, trying to get a Poly off at the last second. Not able to get it quite yet. He should be able to just run away from this point. And TSX is doing such a good job peeling and then swapping that Poly right over to Talby at this point. They're starting to swap it back over onto the bad side of the H-Power God Comp right now. And right now, the RMP has really done a good job at kind of recovering. Just a minute ago, we were looking at it where TSX and Saz were both so low. And at this point now, Babo actually choosing to put up both Amplify Magic and his Cold Snap right there. And he's going to get polyed up once again. He's got to be annoyed of just being CC this entire game. But, I mean, they're doing such a good job at recovering right now. I mean, you can't grudge the RMP at that.
That Power Infusion was stolen off of Knees from Babo and then stolen back from TSX. So Knees actually giving TSX that Power Infusion there for a couple seconds. Talby is full polyed right now. He has his Trinket. He's choosing to sit through as So's is feared here. So's looking to reconnect onto 6 months. No Disperse for 45 seconds. Rip Zonk looking to make something happen here shortly. TSX landing the Frostjaw into the Deep Freeze, looking for the Poly. Gets silenced up by 6 months. He's dropping pretty quick here, down to 45%. Pain Suppression comes out from Knees, now into the Frostjaw. TSX trying to line of sight here, land some defensive Polys onto Babo. Those get dispelled immediately by Talby, though. Kidney Shot now onto 6 months is going to connect, and he's going to just bop the Killing Spree, completely negate the effect. Full Fear now onto Talby, but an equally good Fear landed onto 2 players out from 6 months. Now the Hodge onto So's. He could be in a lot of trouble here. He has his Trinket in his Cloak, but he went down last time without it. He's going to Trinket and Cloak at 24%, surviving that damage for now. Needs getting a saving grace in between the Polymorph spam. He's coming out of crowd control. Should be able to top him off here shortly. Babo getting spam polyed. Talby tree positioned with 6 months on the defense here. But at any moment, like So's or TSX could get taken out, and it looks like they're going to be committing to TSX right now. He's down to 80%. Knees throwing the silence out. 6 months into the Kidney Shot. Frostjaw onto Talby. TSX looking to chain that CC. He's going to get Cheap Shot. The Dispersion comes out from 6 months here without even having to use Killing Spree. Talby gets feared on his Avenging Wrath here. He's not going to be able to get any heals out for the time being. Now finally topping him off, stabilizing his team, and he's going to be safe for that full 20 seconds.
Yeah, so right now they're doing a really good job, like I said earlier, turning it back around. At the same time, the God Comp's rotating through their CDs very well. There's the full deep, though, once again onto Talby. They're going to try and get the Poly. Looks like he gets out of that somehow. Maybe they broke that somehow. I didn't actually see if there was a sack up or anything like that. But Talby's doing a really good job making sure he's rotating CDs around with his DPS. There's the full Fear onto him, though. This could be a little bit of a scary spot because they're going to start going for anything else out of that. But Babo, recognizing that, goes ahead and puts a Frostjaw up onto TSX, knowing that at that point he's not going to be able to do anything. And he goes ahead and polys up as well as having the sack up onto 6 months. But there's a setup onto Saz. It's going to be under the Hodge right out of that. The damage is coming in right now. He doesn't have a Trinket. This could just be the game. He's going to go down. He's so close. And he dies 1 second out of it. That was absolutely like 1 second away from being a live. Amazing that they were able to get the kill that fast.
So Rocket Gaming is now 2-0 in the series against this RMP Dream Team. And they only need 2 more wins if they want to take the series, but still, plenty of time for the RMP to come back and line something up. We never know. We shall have to see.
Let's see if they're able to get a clean 4-0, taking a 2-0 lead now. They have to win 2 more games Another map selection out from the RMP. Tolveron Arena backfiring on them. Knees way too far away to be able to dispel that Hodge. And I don't think they're going to go for another long distance map here on the third map selection. Yeah, going back to Dalaran Sewers.
Dalaran Sewers.
Wait, what?
Oh man, Dalaran and Sewers. This is going to be a really hard map.
Yeah.
I feel like both teams, they both have that pre-sphere. So regardless of what happens, it's going to be a really fast-paced game because you're going to be getting those double fears, the triple fears constantly throughout the game, and that just speeds it up so much faster. All right. But
Let's see if Rip Zonk can make a comeback. They're down 2 games. They have to win 4 to be able to take this and then win in a best of 3 as well. A lot of games ahead of us if they are managing to pull this back. Rocket Gaming, though, feeling pretty dominant right now over Rip Zonk. They're just not able to get anything done. Baba the Mage running in right away to Pet Nova Soz out of stealth. Finally, this RMP getting snapped out of stealth. The Mind Seers coming out, the Blizzards to keep them in combat. This is not the opener that Rip Zonk was looking for, and Baba is still looking for TSX. Now blinks over to Soz. He's going to be building up those icicles shortly. 6 months kiting away on that Garrote Silence. Knees positioned and poised to try and land a fear, but he's going to get feared himself. Deep Freeze onto Talby, looking for a poly. They don't land it. Knees is now polyed. 3v1 situation onto TSX. He's silenced up. He's got the Icy Veins rolling. He wants to be offensive, but he has to run away. Blazing Speed out of line of sight. Ice Nova connects down to 40% and dipping lower and fast. Knees in the Deep Freeze comes out. Get the saving grace to save his Keister, and he's going to stabilize.
yeah, and 6 months actually went ahead and trinketed that very first kidney, being super offensive right away from the start. But Talby is just sitting in some polys right now. The Saved by Light proc should proc right there. It does. You should be okay for just a second here as long as Soz doesn't pop anything too scared. But there's the killing spree, as I said that, and he goes ham, but it gets totally mitigated just by normal healing. I mean, the Saved by Light there pretty much topped him off. No worries through the killing spree. So that's kind of a bad spot right now where Soz just traded the killing spree red buff for a 1 minute cooldown. And Knees there, looks like he's going to probably be put into a poly, gets Frostshot up on it, and he's undoubtedly going to get polyed. He does indeed. TSX forced into a block right there, and 6 months garroted up, or gouged up rather, so he can't go for any kind of an MD. He gets the MD regardless, though. Continuing to go really hard here onto TSX as they can. But right now, into the full kidney, gets bopped instantly. This HPOD comp is being so offensive really early on. They want the win early. They don't want to go into a deeper game on this map, but there's the Bob getting stolen off of him onto TSX right there. And once again, that poly onto Talby, and it's not really accomplishing anything. They're doing such a good job on just peeling Soz throughout this. They actually got that full fear there onto him, just making sure that he can't really play the game, and it's really working out for them at this point.
Yeah, Knees choosing to trinket a full polymorph now, and that's going to be his last line of defense. 6 months choosing to disperse here. Talby was feared up now into a frost job. TSX looking for a polymorph. He's actually going to land that full polymorph. 6 months doesn't have disperse now. He's trying to run away. Soz just can't reconnect. Rooted almost out in range. He's going to go for the killing spree and try and take 6 months down. Saved by the Light's going to proc here. Smoke bomb comes down. He's going to get bopped and walk out of it with the Saved by the Light. Fear lands here onto 3. Hodge onto Soz. Knees coming out of that, dispelling him as well. Swapping over to Soz now. Pain Suppression and Cloak overlapped, and that's a very big overlap of defensive cooldowns over onto Soz. Knees is going to try and land a fear and correct this mistake here. Going for the kill onto 6 months. Poly onto Talby here. He has Bubble and Trinket. He's choosing to sit through this. Adrenaline Rush being used by Soz to build up his damage much more rapidly onto 6 months. You can see it paying off down to 30%. Talby has to bubble down to 15%. It's not going to be enough. Down to 6%. He gets blinded on his Trinket. Down to 12%. Soz just has to reconnect to end the game. Barely stabilizing here at 30%, but somehow, some way is going to survive.
Yeah, and those Paladin cooldowns coming out showing really strong, keeping him alive. But there's the kidney once again onto him. And the more kidneys he's put into throughout this game, the longer it goes, the worse off the HPL God comp is going to be, I feel like. But there's the killing spree onto 6 months. This is dangerous spot for him. He could just actually die inside of a deep at this point. But there's the Saved by Light proc coming up in just in the nick of time, saving him from almost certain death at that point. And Talby just choosing to use that Hodge there onto Soz and making a hard stop, and he's down to 170k, gets a big saving grace. gets out of that and gets into the cloak there just before anything else can happen to him. Really good coming back out of that, but he still doesn't have a trinket, and he's just going to kill him anyway. I actually missed it.
Boop, boop. Rip Zonk on a comeback.
Yeah, that's how it starts. Come back in one game.
5 more games.
5 more games. Doesn't sound that daunting at all, right?
My grandchildren will have children by then.
No, we're not playing against the Boomy Man. Just not that long.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
No, these will be shorter, definitely. But
Absolutely.
man, that was definitely a turnaround there. I mean, they came around literally from almost one-shotting Saws right there to just coming around and getting the kill right onto 6 months. So definitely shows the offensive strength of RMP and just how much damage they can do in an opener like that.
Oh yeah. Just want to remind our audience, this is a best of 7 series, so the teams will need to win 4 in order to win a tournament. If I believe, let me look at the brackets here real quick. If Rocket Gaming wins 4 in a row, they will just win it entirely. If Rip Zonk wins 4 in a row, then we go to bracket I. Because Rocket Gaming gets a second chance. And how the losers bracket works, basically. You guys can check out the bracket. I will link it in chat if you guys haven't seen it yet. There you go. So do we have a match choice yet?
Nope, still
we're
just
still
waiting
waiting.
on Babo the Mage, aka Rocket Gaming, to give me that map choice.
I think we've already played on what Dalrun, Tolvaron, the Grand. So we have a Blade's Edge, Ruins.
He did
and-
choose Ruins.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's going to be a
okay.
scary map for the Rogue. He doesn't have that much of a room to run around, and it's definitely a little bit scary for him. He can definitely just get caught out there and die in a hurry.
Runes of Lordaeron going to be the map choice for the God Comp here, moving into Game 4 now. Rip Zonk on a comeback train as they have been making their way through the losers bracket this entire time. Wait, what?
Yeah, maybe this is exactly where they want Rocket Gaming. You know, they're confident now, easy to take out.
I kind of feel like Rocket Gaming has some kind of affiliation with, was it the Pokemon thing? Rocket Squad? Was it
Team Rocket?
Rocket.
Team Rocket. There you go. I wonder if they're of the same origination.
Are you saying that they're evil with bad intentions?
Yeah, man. And the good, nice RMP has to come and clean them, man.
So Ash
gonna
use
Ketchum,
that,
Knees is Ash Ketchum, and then what are the names? Jesse and James? Who is Jesse and James on Rocket Gaming?
I guess that has to be the Mage and the Shadow Priest, right? And then Misty can be the healer. Sorry, Tal.
Misty.
I thought that
Oh, what's
no,
the
wait, that's
cat's
the
name?
opposite.
Misty
right,
is
right.
the
Yeah, you're right.
no. Misty is a girl. She's the gym
She's
leader.
with Ash though.
Yeah, she's not on the
Never
evil
mind.
side.
No. So who's else on the evil side? then?
Meowth. One of them has to be Meowth.
Yeah,
Jesse,
yeah.
James, and Meowth.
Talby is Meowth,
There you go.
Okay.
and they're actually just gonna camp
Now that we have
the
that
room.
sorted.
And camping the room prevents them from being able to stay in stealth. So it's a good map selection out from Rocket Gaming here to do this. And they've actually got the water elemental positioned at the door, getting mind seared so that the other team cannot come in without getting pulled out of stealth. It's a clever little maneuver here. Oh, So's actually getting blizzard out. Baba Mage 360 no scope had no idea where he was, but pulling him out there nonetheless. And now he's going to have to run into the room. He blinds Talby, kidney on to 6 months. He's going to trinket that first kidney immediately. Powerward shields himself. Barrier getting dropped down preemptively by Knees before that polymorph. It's going to reduce a lot of damage on this Hodge. Great barrier placement by Knees, keeping So's very healthy throughout this. He might not need to trinket at all. He gets the cloak off at 11%, narrowly escaping that death, and he would have been dead if that barrier wasn't down. In the meantime, Talby sitting through a polymorph chain, going for the massive spell here. He does get kicked on the MD, but Talby's going to pop the Avenging Wrath, top him off very quickly, actually chunking him down again. Full fear landed by Knees. Poly onto Babo, 3v1 onto 6 months. Smoke bomb comes down to 20%. The killing spree cutting him into pieces. He's going to have to disperse, and Rip Zonk is looking amazing.
Yeah, so far they look really good, but on the other hand, the God Comps already forced trinkets out of TSX and Saws, especially the trinket from Saws right there. Look at that. There's the fear. Gets off the feint all the way, and there's the Hodge, but it looks like they get stopped up on that. Really good job from TSX just spamming Poly. Look at his globals right there. Nothing but Polys. and it's just stopping the entire setup right there from them. Really good on his part. So that just puts him farther and farther ahead at this point. But there's the fear onto the Paladin. He goes ahead and he actually triggers that and bops 6 months instantly, and it gets MD'd off right away. And Talby right now kind of afraid, just rebuffing, doesn't want to come out too far. He doesn't want to get CC'd at this point by TSX. But I mean, at one point or another, it's going to have to happen. And right now, it looks like the RMP is just running back and resetting. They've actually went ahead and polyed their kill target, recognizing that they don't really need to come out right now. They can just go ahead and poly him, reset, and then come back out and just go straight for him in a big hurry. But there it is, the full poly onto Talby. This is their setup, but they get the full fear onto TSX, denying any more setups on that. Saw is not able to really connect at all at this point, but there's the Chief. I would imagine the Kinney's going to come out of that, and there it is, the full fear onto the Paladin. If they can get another poly or anything else out of that, that'd be perfect at this point. There's the Froststrike. He goes in R Master. He's actually choosing to just sit there and cast. Gets another poly out onto him. The ES wings are already up on him at this point, and they're just going to go ahead and start polying 6 months again, trying to stop the setup. But there's the setup onto the Rogue at this point. Huge damage.
Whoa!
He's just going to die straight in one Hodge. What?
What, mate?
You what, mate?
He actually went from like 100k to 0. What? Okay.
I don't even know
wow.
what to say to that.
I was expecting
Okay.
him to be able to come out of that, but man, the global was real. Oh my goodness!
Mistakes were made. Oh, baby.
Wow.
Wow. So they will take it. And now the
One more to
series.
Right?
Oof, one more, my friend. One more.
One more. Uno más for the ton themselves.
Uno más.
Uno más. Uno más.
It is game point, my friends. It is game point.
match point.
Match point. Well, no, see, actually tournament point, believe it or not.
Yeah, I guess so. Tournament point.
Get technical about it, yeah.
Final point. No return point.
Choices now. They're asking about the map choices now.
Okay, so have
So are they want to know, are they allowed to replay a map in a best of 7?
I don't
Not
think
until
so.
everything's
Not
been
until everything's been played. Yeah.
Not until everything's been played, right?
So we've
it'd be
played on
played-
Dalaran, we've played on Runes, we've played on Tolvaron, we've played on the Grand. There's only
Tiger Speak is open.
didn't play on Tiger's Peak? No, they didn't.
Yeah, so
We played on Blades, Sewers, Negrand,
Oh no, you're right.
Runes. Yeah, we played on Tolvaron.
Yeah,
So we have Tiger Speak or Blades Edge they can pick.
yeah. I would imagine that they'd go for. Honestly, I would imagine Blaze Edge might actually be the better pick for them.
Blade's Edge is
That
like
is-
one of the most unpopular maps in this tournament.
That's
It
what they
is.
chose, Blade's Edge.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, okay.
Yep. So Blade's Edge it is. Man, that's got to be such a disappointing loss for the RMP, though. They were doing so good all the way through that, and then in one Hajj, I mean, they just end the game. I mean, honestly, like, you can't really expect that, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, they have 3 wins that they need to get to pull this back as a comeback. Nonetheless, Rip Zonk performing excellently throughout the entire tournament. Rocket Gaming performing obviously a little bit above the cut to be taking every single team down here. They have to win one more game to win it all and be the grand champions, taking that big prize home. They
What
can buy
grand?
they can buy a lot of hot pockets.
Yes,
Yep.
you can.
You can buy like 1,000 hot pockets.
I mean, that would be the first thing I would spend my $1,000 on. Let's be honest here.
Either way, they still haven't won, so we still have some games ahead of us here. The doors are going to be opening. So is going to be looking for a better opener than the last game. They don't have to deal with that room strategy, crossing the bottom of the bridge, pulling up on the opposite side of the ramp, landing a sap on a 6 months. Nova onto Talby here, looking for an opener. So is not coming out of south just yet. Lands the double fear. They're going to open with that. He triggers the garrote, lands the fear. Soz is actually able to dodge the fear, I believe there. Knees into a polymorph. TSX taking a bit of damage here. Frozen Orb comes out down to 60%. The smoke bomb on a 6 months. He's going to get bopped. He gets purged off. TSX though dipping low down to 40%. Knees into a Hodge. He might have to ice block here. The pain suppression coming out at 26%. Talby topping off his team with that.
Actually using 3 saving graces, trying to top him off. so he's not going to be able to do anything else as far as healing for a few seconds here. And the full blind comes out there onto Telby once again. The reopened Garrote onto 6 months, the Fear onto Babo, the triple CC set up right now. They have that poly again onto him, but 6 months is doing pretty good so far. He hasn't taken too much damage, but there's the coil onto TSX, doing a good job of mitigating some of the damage and stopping a repoly, at least temporarily. The Hajj comes out though onto Saz almost as a defensive at that point, and they don't really have any more offensive pressure to go through right now, but the two teams have kind of stabilized at this point. Neither healer is trinketed, both DPS have it. I don't think actually Saz is trinketed, but there's the full Fear. They're going to try and set up onto Saz out of this, I would imagine, but they don't have a Hajj or anything quite yet, so they're going to poly him and try and get his feint off, I would imagine is what they're going for, but nothing quite yet. And they're continuing to just run down at 6 months. There's the Kinney. They're going to have to get a CC onto Super, but they don't get it quite fast enough. He gets the bop off quickly, and this pre-MD doesn't quite work out. But TSX during all this is sitting down at 70k. He's definitely in some trouble right now. The damage just keeps on pouring into him. The triple Fear comes in, though. That's kind of a game changer at this point. If they can set up more CC off of it, and indeed they do, they can just go through and kill TSX if he can't kite away far enough. And right now, it looks like he's doing really good, sitting up top totally by himself. But the Hajj onto Sauce, he doesn't have a feint up right now. We could have just seen a repeat of last game. He gets the feint up as he comes out, though. The Kinney onto 6 months, denying so much of the damage right now. Doing so much damage, going to force his disperse right now. The poly onto Talby, stopping that so much. He doesn't have anything. He's going to have to bubble. He bubbles it, presses his ES again. 6 months is in some trouble if he can't recover from this. And right now they're doing their absolute best to just peel out the damage. They're trying to turn it around onto TSX right now. And with that deep, they might be able to continue to do more of it, but the pain suppression is going to be able to stop it for now, forcing another block right there. Getting it MD'd up right away as well.
Yeah, and he might just go down. Needs to still polymorph down to 14%, and Rocket Gaming secure their spot on the throne. They are the champions here of the Gamers League Invitationals. Congratulations to Rocket Gaming, and kudos to Rip Zonk, performing very well on that underdog Rogue Mage Priest, performing very well and giving us some very entertaining games. Well played to both teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was one of the better series from the entire tournament. That was exciting.
Only lost one game throughout the entire tournament, Rocket Gaming.
Really?
Very impressive run. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that last game then, one before this.
You
Or
got
the
it.
one two before this, right?
Yep.
That is
Very
honestly
impressive,
pretty
right? Very
impressive,
well
yeah.
earned.
Yeah. I guess if you want to learn how to play against RMP as a Shadow, that's how to do it. You just watch those guys.
There you go. Just watch the VOD, you know? God, so what a great tournament, guys. It was a ton of fun. And we'd like to thank everybody who had a hand in it and everybody for showing up and watching it with us. Thank you guys so much for coming out today to watch this tournament. If you guys enjoyed it, please head over to the Gamers-League site. You guys can check that out. It's gamers-league.com. They have a ton of really great guides and resources on there for you guys to check out, so go give them some love. Along with that, we'd like to thank all of our crew here at Gamers League for the amazing work that they put in each and every day to make these tournaments possible. We'd like to give a big shout out to Alex, Dan, Frank, Giga, Gordon, Meth, Michael, Moran, Synapse, Possum, Reinhardt, and of course Supatese, along with Metaclass as well. Thank you guys so much for all the work that you guys put in.
Yeah,
Thank you all
thanks,
for
man.
watching.
Thanks,
Anytime,
Have a good one.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.